All right, we are now live. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome.
Hello, everybody.
Today,
Welcome.
I am joined here with Rob. We might get some other of our famous panel members like Kaiju Canuck and Mike Monsters coming in later through the stream to offer some commentary. But today's unboxing is going to be just not one Anguirus, but it's going to be 4 Anguirus figures. And we're going to check out the variances between those, but we'll also look at the articulation, the paint, the sculpt, all that good stuff. So let's just take a look at the chat here. Let's see who's saying what. Let's acknowledge some individuals here. Broom, welcome, sir. DJ Master Jedi X, welcome as well. Let's see what everybody else is saying here. S.H.MonsterArts Robin. Look at that. Can't wait for 1972 Ghidra. Hey, we're all there with you, man.
Any day now.
We cannot wait. We cannot wait for that. I mean, it should be very, very soon now. You know, they post these things like what, you know, when it's a silhouette tease and it's a shadow and there's no date attached, it's usually 6 to 8 months later, and then they do a full reveal. So we're creeping up on that because I think Anguirus was I think that was showing off in what, November, end of November.
Yeah,
So
I think
yeah, it should be coming up.
I think they had like the prototype shown at Godzilla Fest, I think. So
Something like that.
yeah, something along those lines. So yeah, I can see that happening pretty soon. Hopefully, I mean, obviously, but you know.
Yeah. Master Pikachu 95. Hello, sir. Welcome. Kevin, welcome. Kevin O'Bill. Show me some pros and cons. Well, we'll get into that.
Well, your first pro,
We're just
right here.
yeah.
This box is beautiful.
Absolutely. You know what is what I can appreciate from these boxes, even though the first Godzilla 1972 figure came out already, that was a windowed box, right? But they're keeping the theme between them. I'll go ahead and throw this up real quick just so you can see it. But if we put them both together, they both got their flames at the bottom there.
Oh, look at that. I'm about it.
Yeah, so it's, and you know what? I don't have the Gigan box out here right now, but it's also the same thing. It's got the fire at the bottom. So that I appreciate that they're keeping a little bit of that theme, even though that one of them is a windowed box right there.
Which means Ghidorah should be covered in flames or something to that degree. Maybe it'll be him flying through the sky.
You know, it will be the largest box between all of those.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. You know it will.
Yeah. Ghidorah's a big boy. Big boys need big boxes.
Yeah.
Wow. I really do.
I think I'm saying this right. Volcanic, howdy, man. Welcome to the stream and everything. Yes, Broom, it's Shinrub Jira. He's here. He's going to be providing some commentary, checking out the comments in the comment section. Say hi, Rob.
I'm going to have my eye on all of y'all, so y'all behave.
Yeah.
I'm like a hawk. I go for the eyes first. I think that might be a vulture.
Like a hawk. Yes. Oh, here's a good comment right here. Yeah. Will Godzilla 1972 have a reissue? You know what? It is a general release. It is entirely possible to get a reissue of that figure. Absolutely. It can possibly happen. It sold very well in Japan. It sold very well in the United States. So it's bound to happen.
I hope so, because that guy was an absolute dream right out of the box. Even though one of my dorsal plates was disconnected from his back, and I had a heart attack thinking it broke in shipping, but it didn't. It didn't.
Yeah. Broom
great.
is asking you, Rob. He's asking you, how stoked is Rob for Shin Nendoroid?
Stoked enough that I might actually be getting 3 copies because the US Godzilla store has a bonus and the Good Smile version has a bonus. So I might be out of a lot of money come November, which is not good because that's Godzilla season and you already know. But heavily considering, yes. I believe the US Godzilla store comes with this huge like background for the figure that's just Tokyo in flames, and then the Good Smile version comes with a second beam and a stand for his tail tip. Good way to get a lot of money. I think that's almost 220 altogether. Oh god.
You think we'll ever get Baragon, Gorosaurus, Titanosaurus in the near future? I don't know about near future, but definitely count on. I'll put it this way, guys. You know, if you're watching Tamashii Nations, they like to work backwards with a lot of this stuff. So right now they're focusing on 70 monsters. I think we're gonna see some Mechagodzilla 1975 and Titanosaurus in the future. Hopefully, cross your fingers on those guys right there. We're due for both of those characters right there. I know they skipped Megalon, but Megalon can very much still happen because they're still sticking around the 70s. So be ready for it. Cross your fingers. It's gonna happen.
I would die for an SHMA Megalon. But I'd also die for another chance at a show of Mechagodzilla from S.H.MonsterArts. Because, whew, that guy was here and gone. Like the wind.
Oh, yeah. Broom was asking, I think he's talking about the Nendoroid right here, but he was asking about what are the bonuses that come with that Nendoroid.
The US Godzilla store version has just a big background for the figure, and then the Good Smile version comes with a second beam and a stand for that beam. So, since all the heat ray pieces are detachable, you can have the tip of Shin Godzilla's tail expelling the beam as he's expelling it from his mouth as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they cool. For whatever reason they just decided to go off, and yeah, rightfully so. It's their first Godzilla in the Nendoroid line, so hey, go nuts!
Why not? Yeah. Why not?
Plus, it's Shin anniversary next year, and they're releasing it on Godzilla Day. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
S.H.MonsterArts.
Kevin says, I just want to see the reissue of Kiryu because he's very amazing. That's wholesome right there. I love it.
Absolutely.
You know, it's funny that Kiryu figure has had, it's been released 3 times already, and people still want it. It's one of the most popular mechs out there.
Hell, I even want it.
I know if they do another one, I think it will be the 2003 version because we've already gotten 2 versions of the 2002 Kiryu. So the heavy arms, that hasn't been released in a long while. So I think maybe it'll be like an ultimate heavy arms version, or it'll be a decisive battle variant. So I think that's definitely something that's feasible in the future.
No complaints from me. I just want an articulated Kiryu that looks like it will hurt.
Let's see here. So we got what's the next one? 74 Godzilla. You know what? It's just timing is everything. We'll see what happens, right? We don't have any Showa Godzillas currently out on the market right now, so I think we're due for another one, hopefully sooner than later. I still wait for Megaguirus. Hey, but you know what? Megaguirus is a higher possibility now that we have the 2000 Godzilla on the horizon. So they like to do everything in pairs. So we just get the Godzilla figure. Now that means that maybe 8 months from now we might get Megaguirus. We'll see what happens.
I struggle to put an image in my head of what just Megaguirus in general. S.H.MonsterArts articulated more than just vinyl swivels. Like that's such like a pipe dream type thing. Oh man.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, we're going to give it just a couple more minutes. I'm going to blast socials right now saying that we're live, and then we're going to get into it.
Sounds like a plan, man.
Rob, while I'm doing that, do you want to inform our audience about anything that's upcoming for you to look out for on your channel?
Exquisite Basic Godzilla 1991 just showed up, and
Ooh.
I've been taking a lot of pose shots, and so far he's he's my first super articulated 91 figure, so there's a bit of a honeymooning phase there, but I had a set bit of expectations for this, and I wasn't expecting it to be like just this good. I mean, it's like one thing to watch a video on it, and then it's another to actually like get it and mess with it, and it's like, whoa, okay. So tomorrow, maybe Tuesday, we'll see. But yeah. Then there's King Ghidorah from Haya, and then there's like 3 movie monster series, and there's the Transformers X Godzilla stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna be busy for the next 2 weeks. So there's a lot to look forward to. Tons.
Great. All right.
Godzilla's eyes do look really messy, though. Every time I look at him from the front, it's like, whoa! His eyes look like peanuts, like the standard peanut, and where the curvature comes in, where it separates the nut from the shell. I really didn't mean for that to sound as bad as it did. That's what his pupils look like. So every time I look at him, I just think of peanut butter. I'm like, oh no, I can't call another Godzilla peanut butter Goji. Ugh. But other than that, okay. I mean, they did a good job. They did a good job.
I think so.
I'm more curious about Spiky Meatball over here, though, because I've kind of been hearing unanimous they cooked significant with this guy, so seeing 4 on screen at the same time.
I'm really excited to see the differences between all 4 of them. Let's hear. Oh, we got a question for you, Rob. Hey, Rob, are you getting the reissued 1996 Gamera? Because I know you did a review of the original.
Yes, I did a review. My God. I think that video's lost to time at this point. I do plan on doing another review of it. I don't know if I'm going to be getting the new one, just because at this point I think I owe Michael at least $6,000. So, another couple hundred probably too bad, but we'll see because
we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, Hobby Shop just opened rather near me, which was astounding. And we'll see what their import pickings are going to be, because it's another, golly gee willikers, what is the name of that store? Kinokuniya. So, I mean, I don't know what the hell they're doing over here, but I ain't complaining. So if they end up having it, I'll definitely pick it up, because I like the new eyes. If you ever needed another reason. Bro got them pretty eyes.
All right. I'm just about wrapped up over here. I'm just trying to post to Instagram, and then we're going to get started.
Awesome. Awesome possum.
Now I'm curious.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Follow-up comment. Oh. Now I'm curious who the first peanut butter Goji is.
Originally, the first peanut butter Goji was the 70th anniversary poster color version Godzilla 1954, but that was part of a cut that never got released because I messed up really, really badly. So I just re-recorded the whole thing. So I guess it wouldn't technically count, but in my head it does, and it bothers me.
Go figure, right?
And go figure. Go figure. Maybe we'll call him Big Nut Goji. Like that, what was that, God, it was a pillow and a rubber bouncy ball at the same time from some Swedish company, and it was literally just called Big Nut. Maybe we'll just call him that. Swedish company ball pillow Big Nut Goji.
Oh, rolls right off the tongue. My goodness.
You see some weird stuff out on the internet, man.
You sure do. Sure do. All right, we're wrapping this up in just a second. For some reason, on YouTube, on my phone, my stream's not even popping up. That's kind of weird.
Really? I'm on your stream. And...
yeah.
Weird. I got the notification. Let me click on your channel real quick. And let me see
live.
what... Yeah, you got the live ring around your little icon.
Yeah, it shows... Yeah, it shows... for some reason, it's weird, but I got it. I figured it out.
Yeah. You going. Of course, Dorky Films. Who doesn't like jazz?
Yeah, everybody else is simple to post to except for Instagram. Instagram's got to be like, oh, sorry, you got to make a story for a link and everything. You just can't post it in your comments.
Nope, because links on Instagram are moot, which I don't understand why that was a feature that was taken away. I really don't.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me either. Okay, we were posting that, and let's get into it. Everybody's here. Let's do it.
Okay.
All right, so everybody, I will not be able to monitor those comments from here on out, but Rob's going to shout them out if somebody's asking some questions, so feel free to ask those questions. He'll be able to check the chat and everything.
Yes.
Let's just, let's get our brightness turned up just a smidge more for you guys there. We can see a little bit better of that figure. Ah, look at that. That's nice, isn't it?
Sweet Mother Mary. Look at that.
Yeah. You know
it's
what?
just nice and crisp.
I put my SD card in there.
Don't
worry, we'll be back, guys. I just forgot to put an SD card in the, the camera.
It happens.
I record these things local, so we can watch the abridged version after the fact. So it'll be right back in just a second.
We have a very important question, Michael.
Go for it.
From Dorky Films. Hey, not Bandai. Are you Bandai?
Oh, I'm not Bandai. It's like say the line, do the line. I feel like Bart Simpson.
Do the roar.
Oh, yeah.
Do the roar.
All right, everybody, let's get into it. We're live. Welcome. Let me just get back here. Okay. So welcome, everybody. We're not opening up this guy right here. We're going to open up other figures. Instead, we've got other business to do. We've got not only just one Anguirus. We've got two Anguirus. We've got three Anguirus, four Anguirus figures. Holy Toledo. Look at that. That's a lot of beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, look at that. Wow. So many. So many to choose from right there. You know what? I forgot to turn these other studio lights on. There we go.
Shading.
Yeah. So we're going to open all four of these up today. We're going to check out the differences in paint and everything. That's the back side of it. Let's look at the front. Look at that. So let's just kind of show off the first one by itself here. So here's the box. Here's the front of it right there. Anguirus 1972. Not 1968, but 1972. Here's your side. And the back again. Other side. This kind of falls in line with our classic black and white that they used to do. Then you got your top right there. And then you've got your bottom side. Yeah. Nice. Now, what's interesting about these guys right here is that they do not open from the bottom and the top. They open from the sides. So let's get into it. Let's check it out. We'll open up. So here's for anybody that's not. Oh, go for it. Go for it.
What do you do with the extra 3 copies?
They are sold to anybody that wants them. However, and this is usually after the stream. I'll let everybody know what's available, what isn't available. However, all 3 of these, I keep one for myself, and then the other 3, they have already been claimed So sorry, everybody, if you're hoping to grab one of these. Everybody hit me up right away, my DMs, as soon as I posted a photo of the box art in the stream. Everybody wanted one, so they have all been claimed. I don't keep them, though. I don't need 4 of them. This is just for you.
He suffers for his art.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The reason why I started doing this was because, you know, there are so many people that just find one bad photo, and then everybody just circulates that one bad photo. It's just like, you know what? Let's see a good pool of what to expect with these guys, right? Instead of just one bad photo. Let's see if we can see how it looks with between 4.
You right.
So that's what it looks like.
Right.
Ooh, my goodness, the chemical smell out of this, that fresh plastic smell. Oh my god. It is very strong. Okay.
You gotta be for Anguirus.
Yeah. All right, here's our first one right here. I'm not going to pose them right away. I'm just going to set them and line them up right now, okay? So there's our first Anguirus. They have it positioned so that he's kind of standing up. There's nothing else in the clamshell. It's just the figure itself.
Because Anguirus' sole accessory is that he finally exists in this figure line.
Yes. Yes, that's true. So, that's crazy. Oh, by the way, before I get too far into it, on the box itself, you may have seen this in promo, but they have little speech bubbles right here on the side panel. So you can pose your figures next to it if you want to take a photo of it, or if you don't really care about the boxes, you can cut these out, make a little stand yourself with them. But these are the speech bubbles that appear in the movie.
Yeah.
Right. You know what's funny is even though I've seen the Japanese version of it, I still picture the English dub in the way that they were talking.
Yeah, it's really hard not to.
Like, why do they sound like old men?
What do you want? Something
exactly.
funny's going on. You better check. Oh yeah. Then Godzilla gets that zoom in and he's like, hurry up. It's like, jeez, relax.
Yeah, I know. Relax, dude. So, all right. So here we got our first Anguirus.
You know what, Bandai? Oh, man. You got to go the extra mile. Next time, little sound chip in the box. Every time you open it, you hear a different line from Anguirus or Godzilla.
Right. You know what would be great is if they had a little button on the... They put a little sound chip on the inside of it and it does that. That'd be great.
That'd be beautiful.
All right. So
Godzilla and Anguirus are chain smokers in the English dub.
We lost a leg in this one right here.
Oh my god.
Oh no. That's okay. We'll just pop it right back on just like that. Look at that. Nothing wrong.
Nah, it's the beauty of ball joints.
Yeah.
Just be careful with your hands. He's a sharp boy.
Yeah, and you know what? We'll talk about that. How sharp it is, because you have other figures in the line, you know, that are like Evolved Godzilla, you know, with sharp edges and stuff like that. But I can tell you right now that these guys, the top of it right here, it's actually not too bad. It's not really hard. It's a softer plastic, so you don't have to worry about people, you know, hurting themselves while they're trying to pose their figure or anything like that. It is a softer plastic. The shell itself, the carapace, that's actually pretty solid.
Interesting. I wish Super 7's Destroyer could have done that. I still have scars.
There's our third one right there. We've got three amigos there.
And he's straight out the plastic womb without anything falling about. This is good.
Yeah, just one so far had a little loose appendage going on right there. That's the trouble with these ones that do it by the side, though. They don't go in quite well compared to putting them from the top.
Yeah, I've had that issue with every high release ever. Except for the new one, surprisingly.
Oh my.
I know he hasn't posed yet. The fact that I can't see any joint gaps greatly pleases me from Broom.
Yeah. Just out of the box. I mean, it's pretty there we go. There's our 4 Anguirus right there.
Anguirus. Oh, hell yeah, brother.
They look, wow. Having all 4 of these here, the smell of the factory smell is really strong.
Oh my chemical God. Burns. Oh man.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. We've got all 4 of them here. I'm going to just pull up the chat so I can see it too while I'm looking at this here with y'all.
Yes.
Make sure my volume's turned down. Last thing I need to write is just all right, yeah, he does look good so far. He sure does. He sure does. Okay, so here we go. We have our 4 Anguirus figures right here. We've got, you know, they're all looking good out of the box, you know. Wow, look at that. So before we go into variance comparisons between all 4 of them, we're just going to look at one at a time. And then we will go into the variances. And then we'll go into articulation after that. And then we'll do some comparisons with some other figures like Gigan and the Godzilla 1972 figure. I'm going to go on the other side of the camera right now. It's a lot easier for me to pose and move things around from that side. So, and we'll get a closer look on these guys.
I'm excited.
As you should be.
Daniel Dickerson writes, the reddish coloring looks really natural on video, too.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is that it's not even red. It's a brown. It's like a brownish mud kind of color. But it's not really entirely red either. It might come off, it might look like that, though.
Hey, S.H.MonsterArts Red Anguirus. When? Like the Bandai Toys Dreams Project one. I'd buy that for $1.
There you go. All right, here we go. So let's just take a look at all of these guys really quick. These aren't posed or anything. These are just taken right out of the box so that we could just take a real quick look at them.
Wow.
The eyes look great.
Yeah, I was just about to say they look real.
Yeah, and that's the big difference, you know, when you've got decals instead of using that dot matrix paint style. So, but yeah. So let's, you know what we're going to do is we're going to take this guy right here. We're going to just take a look at one of them. We'll get into more variant stuff later. So I'm going to put these guys off to the side for right now. Let's just explore the figure together, right? Let's take a look at it. Let's see what it's all about.
Yes.
So, let's get into it. So first thing off the bat, for everybody to know, the carapace is a floating piece. I've seen a lot of photos online in Japan pop up, and I was just wondering, how the heck did they do this thing? You know, that's the big question. How does this work with articulation? All that other good stuff, right? And with this right here, there is a ring that it's attached to that goes over the torso part right here. So with that, it's able to move, allow for articulation so that Anguirus can go side to side. You can even see that when I did that right there. You see that gap like that right there? So
oh yeah,
you're able to move it up and down. Look at that. You get that crunch. So there's that. But it's a floating piece. So when you're posing this, it's gonna, you know, you see that how it goes like that. So it's going to take some getting used to. I think some people might complain about it. It's not overly tight, though, around the middle. You can see that there's a little bit of some leeway right there, so you can move it around. So I think that's important to get that articulation going right there.
I agree.
So, yeah. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to move my camera back just a little bit so that I can have a little bit more room to work with here.
I mean, honestly, as long as that carapace piece isn't loose to the point where Anguirus can hula hoop with his own back, I don't think that's going to be much of a problem, you know?
Yeah. Okay, so let's just look at the figure first. So we're going to zoom in. Look at that beautiful eye right there. Wow. So these are decals that are put on the figure right here. These are not dot matrix painted, so they're very full of color.
And life.
There's some blending that we've got over here on the top. Looks really, really great. Right there on the crest right there, the crown, if you will. There's some minor blending right here over on the horn. It's very subtle, though. It's more of a white to yellow. It's kind of an interesting choice right there. Oh, the eyes are just so big and gorgeous looking, though. I love it.
There's a seam
line. Yeah, there's a seam line right here under the cheek. I think that's a well-put area. That way it's just not going across the whole face, you know?
Yeah,
so that looks like he's got lips. That's kind of smartly done. Let's open up the mouth there. So, oh yeah. So here's something I noticed. Some people were saying that the mouth doesn't open up that far, but it does look like it opens quite well. The thing is it will spring back if you don't do it nice and slow. So if I did this, yeah, it springs right back. But if you just pose it nicely like that, yeah, it'll be fine. The tongue is also on a ball joint. Let me get my little tweezers over here. Yeah, it's on a little ball joint, but it doesn't really move that much. It just kind of moves up and down. You can move it side to side. So let me just hold that down right there. So yeah, it's you can see it kind of moves a little bit like that. It can go up higher, but it will probably pop out if it go any higher than that. So, but yeah, you could probably heat treat this and get it to go further. Let's take a look at the rest of this. There's not a lot of shading on the figure itself. You know, it's kind of one color. There's some, like right here is a little bit of a darker brown color, but for the most part, it's just kind of a flat one color. I mean, what do you think, Rob?
Chocolate.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, Rocky Road.
Oh, dude, don't get me started on Rocky Road. It's a Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Broom would like to know if the bottom jaw is on a ball joint or a hinge.
It is a ball joint. Bottom jaw is definitely on a ball joint. So, for your guys's, just so you can see it, I will take it off. So it is a ball joint, just like that. So
sweet Jesus.
It is a small ball. It is a small ball joint at that too. So, but it is a ball joint. So you can give it, if you want to give it a crooked jaw, you can do that. You just need to. That's the thing. If you take it off, just make sure you pull that joint back down. Yeah, that's the
tricky.
Yeah, let me. I'm going to bring this behind the camera really quick. Here, look at this one instead. Let's look at the back of the carapace.
What does it feel like to be Mechagodzilla right now? You just broke his jaw.
I get it now.
I understand where he was coming from.
Yeah. Just like sitting there minding his business and all of a sudden he gets attacked, right? So there's the carapace. You know what's great about this is I think they nailed the sculpt. Because I feel like many other Anguirus toys, it's just spikes in one direction, right? It's just straight up. But there's different angle on it. You know, like these ones are backwards and upside down. These ones are it's kind of like a swirl almost in a way, right? I mean, I don't know if you see it, what I'm seeing right here, but you see how, like, you see these are going down, but then these ones are going up.
Oh, yeah.
So everything is so uniquely, and I know what people are saying, you know, the price for this, it's $140 MSRP in the United States, right? I mean, this is where that cost came in, was making this part right here, the shell. 100%. Oh, yeah. That's where all that's going. And all these things had to be individually sculpted. This isn't 3D sculpted. This is one person going in and sculpting each. And look how close they are to each other. Now, I'm assuming the way it works, the way he sculpted it, was that he sculpted each of these individually, and then he was putting them onto the shell at one at a time. That whole process in of itself, I mean, there's got to be over 100 of these, right? On the back of that.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane.
It is. And what's even crazier is that on top of the fact that you have all of these spikes going in every which way, there's still detail below them.
Exactly, yeah. So there's... let's see if we can get a little bit closer on that right there. So I don't have a macro lens on right now, but that's as close as we can get without losing focus. But yeah, there's sculpted detail that's already there. So, you know, what he probably did was he sculpted the top of the carapace, he detailed it, and then after that, he just applied every single one after the fact. And this is not sculpted by Yuji Sakai, who does most of the sculpt work for the S.H.MonsterArts line. His name is Kenji, I believe. I have to look it up. I don't have it right here next to me. So, but yeah, that's the carapace right there. We're going to go back to the one that I originally had. So, but yeah, it looks really good. The blending, that's what I really like about this, is that there's no hard stop paint. It's all blended. You see that?
Yeah.
All those spikes have some proper blending. It's like what they did was they just kind of dipped it or something, but it caused a nice blending effect. I don't think maybe they are hand painted to make it look like this. Maybe it's an airbrush. I can't really tell, but they look really, really good.
They do. And there's no excess paint on his shell either. It's literally just on the spikes.
Yeah. I mean, if you really, really want to get in there, you know, the nitpick, like there's a little bit of glob of paint on this one right here at the edge. Just a couple spots. But you wouldn't notice if it was, you know, from afar. Yeah, from afar you wouldn't really notice it. But just if you really wanted to get up there, you know, put your eye up to it. You know what I mean? So, okay. So we've got our neck. We've got our neck right there. Looks good. We're going to go into articulation later, guys. We're just looking at the paint and the sculpt right now. We've got these all individually painted on the side like that. Look at that. Right there on the side. The feet, the claws, they've got some blending right there too.
Nuts.
Oh, yeah.
Actually nuts.
So, and there's no slop or paint from these on the arms, so that looks great. Let's look at the feet. The legs, articulation, I can't wait to show you guys more about this right here. This is insane what these guys did with the articulation on this. It's absolutely insane.
Oh, already there's a lot of implications. Good God.
Yeah. And what's great is that, you know, you can pose it so that it's standing up, or you can pose it where it's on the ground, and it looks seamless. There is a semi-gloss kind of sheen to this figure. It's not entirely matte. It's not entirely super glossy either, but it's more of like a semi-gloss effect. So I'd be pretty curious to see what that would look like with a matte coloration. Let's look at the tail. Tail looks great.
We do have a question from Josh Knott. Question for Tess. How come they seem to never do any sort of dry brushing along the body? Even a little bit would go a long way.
It's all about cost when they do these figures. Imagine having multiple individuals doing an extra coat of dry brushing on every figure. Some of these figures, they do a little bit of light dry brushing, but they won't ever add it to the whole entire body when it comes to mass production. They might have that in the resin prototype, because that's, you know, hand painted by the artist, whoever sculpted it usually. But it's all about cost. You know, if they had somebody in here dry brushing the whole entire figure, you know, it gets more expensive. So they just do. In this case, it looks like it's just painted all one coat, which is, in my opinion, a bit disappointing. I think that this could have used a little bit of some weathering details on it instead of just one coat of paint. But I think it looks okay for what it is. But I would have preferred a little bit more shading. Like even the recent Gamma figure that was reissued, that had some shading throughout, and that looked great. It was a good balance. So, yes. But let's get back to the tail. So here's our tail. The bottom of the tail doesn't have any spines or anything like that. But the top of it does. and I really dig it. It's random, but it makes sense. Does that work for you?
I mean, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the tail tip right there. It's got the little horn, but it looks good.
I think so. Oh, even the blending.
There's
on
your whole
the tip,
tail right there. Yeah, so it's just it's things like this that confuse me, right? Where we get blending on spikes, but then we don't get any blending on the body itself. So it's like, okay, guess most of the budget, was put into the carapace over here. So
now it looks awesome. So
yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and just get in. Let's get into articulation of this guy right now, and then we're gonna do the variance comparison after that.
Let's do it.
Let's start with the head. The head can go, it's all connected. The head by itself, as far as the head movement goes, you can move it down that far. Oh, you know what? You guys know me. Before I even start moving these figures around, I like to heat treat them. I use a heat gun. I recommend everybody else to use a hair dryer if you don't have one of these. If you do use one of these, know your limits. Don't do what I'm doing unless you know what you're doing, because you don't want to melt your plastic on your figure. So, but I like to give it a good once over, and this loosens the joints because this just came out of the factory. Some joints are loose, some joints are really tight, and this will help loosen that up.
Do not try this at home.
Yeah, don't try it at home unless you know your limitations. You've practiced this. Keep it at a safe distance because you don't want to melt any plastic. All right. So let's start with the head first, okay? So the head.
Yeah.
Let's get back to that. So I'm going to try and hold that neck still so we can get a good example of the head movement. But yeah, you can go up and down there. Let me zoom in. So we can go up, down. You can go left to right. Left to right is a little bit more limited because of the cheek sculpt right here.
Mm.
But that's where the neck's going to come into play. So I'm just moving the head only right now. So you can do a 360 with that head. You can even twist it all the way around.
Mm.
A little Exorcist to Anguirus moment, right?
Peace.
Oh, yes. So, and then we've got... Don't do it.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
You've got the jaw that can open and close. It closes fairly well.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any bunching because of the teeth, which is really cool.
Yeah, the teeth are placed just... If we look at that right there, they're just right where they kind of fall in line. So that's great. The tusks don't get in the way either.
Meh.
The mouth paint detail, it's all right. It's just one solid color. There's no blending inside the mouth at all. So that's surprising because usually they do a little bit of blending on the inside. The teeth paint actually looks okay. They're nice big pieces or they're just nice big teeth. I think they do well when they have bigger teeth to paint, right? Versus the smaller teeth like a -1 figure, right?
Yeah, I mean that's for mass production. Painting something that small is just, oh god, I don't want that job.
Yeah, no thank you. But let's look at the neck here. So the whole neck articulation, like we can get this guy to look. I like to do this as careful as I can without trying to pop it out, but that's pretty low.
Is that a 90-degree angle?
Well, let's get him standing up straight. It's pretty close.
Wowzers.
It's pretty close to looking down all the way. You can get a lot of movement with this neck range. Yeah, and you know what? You can move the abdomen down even further. Look at that. So yeah, you can get him to look down all the way.
Oh my god. And from the front, there's like no gaps. Bro just looks like he's sad.
Yeah, and I think that helps with the floating ring that goes around the torso right there. Otherwise, it would look very ugly. It kind of already does. If you look right here in the back, you can see that big, giant, empty gap right there. But by not having this part of the sculpt attached to the carapace right here, you're able to get this. So that's a big bonus. I think that was really smart to do this ring after all, because if it was attached to a ball joint that was just on the back of this, I think it would look pretty ugly. I don't even think you'd be able to get this articulation if you had just a ball joint on the back of the body. I think at most it would have been just like this. It probably would have been just that much movement if it had a ball joint on the back of it. But yeah, you can go all the way down. I wonder if we can get this guy to curl up into a whole ball. What do you think? Should we try it? We'll try it. We'll try it in a bit. We'll try it in a bit. But for now, as far as looking
people
left,
were
right,
asking about it.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, it's just like, can he roll up into a ball? Man, I'm a little bit more confident now.
We'll try it out. So there's your left movement. So this is straight on, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad.
No.
That's not bad. Get him from the backside.
That's kind of badass. Hey, yo.
Yeah. Looks good. So yeah, you can get a lot of movement. The whole torso area right here. Let me just kind of fix this up. So this whole torso area, you can, look at that. Like I said, it gets a little ugly right here, but that's because of the floating ring. You can move this up. When you're doing your toy photography, you don't have to leave it like that. You can move this. It's adjustable. So if you see that gap, just move it up and it'll cover it. And you see it stays too.
Yeah, it doesn't just slip right on back down, which is
here's what it looks like from the top view when you're moving that, by the way. So he's got plenty of room to move around.
No rub off.
Yeah, no. Yeah, and that's the nice thing about this is that, when we were talking to Brian Flynn, he was kind of educating us a little bit about how they paint these figures versus how, a hobbyist like us would paint figures, and how it's just kind of like injected into the plastic almost. So it prevents it from, being easily rubbed off with your fingernail or a penny or something like that. So. But yeah, it looks good. Compose yourself, Rob. Compose yourself.
I'm composed. Composure.
Okay, so as far as the middle section goes, I'm going to just grab it from, we can... So, I mean, he's doing ab crunches like, that old classic workout video, right? As far as twisting goes, that's kind of it. The ring can move a little bit, but it's... Yeah, you see that? How I was able to adjust that ring right there?
Yeah.
So I was able to adjust the ring a little bit. So if I twist the body... So here it is straight on, right? If I twist the body, you can adjust it, the backside, since it's on that floating ring, to go with it. So just to give you a better idea of what that looks like straight. So he's twisting all the way around like that. But that's kind of the limitation of that. It's not going to go any further unless you move the legs, because that's what's stopping it from moving right now, is that leg piece right there. So right here, it's stopping it. But it can twist around. The arm articulation, let me just pull this up a little bit. As far as arm articulation goes, I'm just holding it by the tip right there. We can go all the way around. Oh, wow, look at that. Yeah, at the elbow can twist. I think they did way better job here at the wrists than they did with Shimo right here, because Shimo was sculpted with the part of the ankle part right here, or the wrist part, where it was kind of into the figure. But this is actually, it's got a sheath, a wrist sheath like that. So you can pose it in a way where it's just straight.
Damn.
Yeah. So you can either have it like this one right here where it's more angled. And that angle, look at that, that's like 90 degrees.
We love our 90-degree angles.
Yeah, we love our 90-degree angles, right? But yeah, it's 90 degrees on that right there. Or you can go all the way straight. You can't go further than this, though. That's it.
Careful,
that's
Michael.
As far as it's going to go. It's going to pop.
Careful. No. Just
there we
careful
go.
with the pose.
We got some karate here. Hiya.
Hiya.
Yeah, hiya, right? Yeah, I've seen some posts where some people were posing it where he was like praying, so that was pretty cool. Let's look at the. Yeah, let's. I mean, these arms, they can go all the way back. Look at that.
That wave was coming from his heart, Josh, not right from his heart.
Yeah, I popped this one out by accident. Okay.
It happens.
So, yeah, it can happen. Yeah. So happen. I like that. You know, when you go. So inward and outward, right? Look at that. You can make them all the way touch that cheek right there. Oh, we're going to have to do one of those poses, aren't we?
We are. Where he's on his elbows and he's holding his face and he's kicking his feet behind him.
The darling Anguirus, right?
Yeah.
I twisted this arm too much. I got to reset it.
He killed him! He killed him!
Yeah, I did.
But the flesh
in the floating carapace is like, nah, we're going to go this direction. It's like, but I don't want you to go that direction. Sometimes it's just easier for me to go, yeah. I twisted the arm in a weird way, so I got to twist it back into the right shape now. Okay. Right?
Hey,
the legs... So the legs at the hips on this one are really loose, actually. They didn't even need any loosening up from the heat gun or anything like that, but they're really loose right here. So it might be a point of concern as far as holding poses go, but I think it's holding it quite well, actually.
Yeah, he's not doing splits right out the gate, which is comforting.
Yeah, so he is looking okay right there, but it's definitely a little bit, dang it. You know what? This elbow's really bothering me. 1 second, guys.
We'll be right back after these scheduled messages.
The thing is when you're wearing gloves, you lose that friction.
Yeah. That fingerprint friction.
So everything slips pretty easily.
Especially in these hotter months under photography lighting. Right. Melting slowly.
Okay, we're back. Yeah, so as far as leg articulation goes, yes, we are back. So as far as legs go, this is going to be really exciting to show you guys. So let me just position these upward. So he can stand straight, just like that. We're going to get him on all fours now. And it's really crazy. It's like a double barbell joint or something like that in here, because we can go straight to completely like that. Look at that.
Jesus.
Like it's pretty much touching the shin right there. So I'll show you guys. So we're going to get this all posed out here.
That's rather acute English.
Yes. So you just have to pose it like that there. To get the best pose, you're going to want to make the knees kind of touch the ground first. And then you'll want to angle the feet out just a little bit. That's going to be more natural. The thing is that when you're doing this, you have a tendency to push the figure down, so it just kind of collapses on itself when you do this process. So it's just going to take some getting used to and some finagling, but you'll be able to get it. So, and then let's get some pose like that. So there is our Anguirus on the ground pose right there.
Wow.
The bend on this is insane.
It almost looks like it shouldn't be bending that way. That's like...
I mean, look at that bend. That's incredible. Any other figure... Yeah, any other figure, this would not tolerate it that well. You know, it would just pop right off. But it's designed. It's designed, you know, you've got... I think this helps because if you look at Shimo's foot, again, it's just one piece, right? You've got articulation right here. You've got another point right here. So there's, you know, let's count that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You've got 7 points of articulation here on the foot alone, on the leg alone.
No expense spared. Wow.
And then same thing with the arms. You can pose these guys so that they're, you got the elbow, so you can pull that elbow back like that. Have this one out a little bit more.
This is all extremely impressive, but those eyes still, like, might be my favorite
They're gorgeous.
part.
They're absolutely gorgeous.
100%. Wow.
I was worried about them when I saw the promo because they didn't look like they had a nice shine to them, but I'm glad that they turned out the way that they did.
Just that perfect glare.
Yeah. Should I disassemble it just so we can see what this looks like? I think we will. Let's just see how they're doing this ankle bend. So I'm gonna take it apart. I'm really curious. So just the standard foot. We're gonna take off the sheath right here. We're gonna see what. Okay. I mean, that's all it is.
That's wild.
It's like a cap. I think it is a double barbell system. Yes, it is. So there's a joint that goes into the ankle. There's a joint that goes in the ankle, and then there's another joint piece right here in the center, and then there's another joint right there. So it's able to really bend. I mean, just showing you just that bend alone right there.
Oh, Eric has a question for you.
All right, Eric, what's up?
They pre-ordered their copy from E-Night Media. When should they expect it to arrive, if you know?
So, without getting too much into it, with the whole tariff situation that's been going on, there's been a delay in figures, right? That being said, for Anguirus, it was just released in Japan just a couple days ago. So it should be, I've read that and heard that from Bandai that they are resuming their shipments again. So you can expect this guy to reappear in the US towards the end of June. The only figure that's been affected delay-wise that I know of right now is Gamera. That's going to be coming a little bit later. But this one from E-Night Media, you can expect that towards the end of June.
There you go, Eric. From not Bandai himself.
Yeah. So, yeah, expect it for the end of June. If you decided to pre-order it, as long as you pre-ordered using services like FedEx or UPS or DHL and you didn't go over $800, you should not be getting dinged any duty fees or anything like that either. So you should be good to go. I ordered 4 of these guys. I didn't get charged any duty fees or anything. So you should be okay if you did pre-order that. That would have been different though if it was like a week or so. You would have probably been dinged. So thanks to that recent deal that's been going on.
Okay, we got 2 questions in the chamber right here. First from Josh, another question. How come the eyes don't look nearly as good on other SHMA figures, even if it's either digital, decal, or hand-painted?
I think it just depends on the size of the eye, but also depends on which factory it's coming from, right? If it's coming... I've noticed that there's more issues with the eyes when it comes from the Vietnam factory. This guy comes from China. But I think the size also helps. And it depends on the assembly, because the way it works with these guys when you're assembling them, the inner mouthpiece is put on separately into the head. So it's not like they put the decal on the head while it's all put together. It's applied, it looks like just like muscle tissue, right? And they just apply it to that, and then they pop it in there and glue it so that it's on there. So whatever method they used for this one, I think it was it could have been using a machine or it could have been by hand. I think, based on looking at all of these guys right here, just really quick, I'll show you guys myself too when we get into it. But based off what I'm seeing right here, the placement is pretty much the same across all 4 of them. So I'm thinking that these were applied by a machine, these eye decals. So, and then the dot matrix, it just depends on how they have it in the machine, right? If they set it and they set it awkwardly in the machine, some eyes can turn out really wonky.
Interesting.
I don't think the dot matrix eyes look good, though.
We got a bunch more questions now. From
okay, go for it. We'll take a quick break and we'll talk more questions. Go ahead.
Vez20 asks, is this cheaper to import from Japan?
No. If you were to import this from Japan, you're probably going to pay over $140, unless you order more figures to offset the shipping price for it. So MSRP in the US is $140. It'll probably be around $150, $160 depending on the shipping method that you use for it. That's if you want it in a timely manner. They do have really cheap shipping, but you're going to get the figure in 2 to 3 months from now. So at that point, just wait for the US release and just order from E9 Media because they offer a big discount, a pre-order discount already. Kappa Hobby also offers a discount. And here's another thing, is that these guys are premium Bandai figures. They are already in the aftermarket in Japan, so it's going to be pretty hard to find one that's available at MSRP or less. But when these guys go on, say they go for sale on Hobby Genki or actually they don't go on Ninden Game anymore, but sites like that sell premium Bandai figures, they actually upcharge because they have to order it for you. So you're already paying more for this figure out the door. There is currency conversion advantage, but it doesn't really work so much for a premium Bandai figure unless you order multiples of it or different figures that ship in the same month to offset that shipping cost.
Well, there you go. I couldn't have said it any better. Shrimp would like to know, is this the first figure from SHMA to use decals?
No, this is not the first figure. Most of the figures in the beginning of the line's existence, back in 2012, all the way up until, I think, 2018, used decals for their eyes. The first ones that started using dot matrix were the reissues of the Godzilla 2002 figure and 1954 figure. Those were the first ones that started using dot matrix, and then figures after that started using dot matrix a lot of the time. So like Final Wars Godzilla uses the dot matrix paint, but it's been nice to see that decals are coming back because even the Gamera figure that just recently came out, that also uses decal, and it looks really good.
It does. It absolutely does. Huge difference.
Yeah, it's a giant difference. Get a little bit closer.
Broom comes back once again. Any chance you can bring out Goji to see him side by side in a bit?
Yes, we will do that at the end. We'll do towards the end. We'll do the size comparisons.
Okay, and Drowsy.
We'll do 2 more questions, and then I'm going to continue.
Hopefully I said that right. Drowsy, will you be doing a stream for the 1991 Ghidorah from Haya?
I will not be doing that, but my good friend Rob will probably be doing a review of that. I believe Absolutely. Harold has also posted a video as well, so you guys can check those out. But I will not be doing any live streams for those figures.
And Canucks got one in the chamber, so watch out for his too.
Yeah, those guys... I don't need to do one. You guys got those guys to help you out with that.
And what did you say? This was the last question before we moved on?
Yeah, last question, then we're going to move on.
Okay, this one's from Daniel. How is the weight of the figure? Is it a little hefty in the hand?
You know what? It's got some decent heft because of the carapace in there. It's got some decent... You know what? We can weigh it right now. I've got a little weight tool right here. We can set it on the scale and see how much this guy weighs. Why not? Let's see how much.
You're about to get the official numbers right here, fam.
Yeah. So
that's an idea.
Let's see how much this guy's gonna weigh. It's gotta think. Take all day, why don't you? My goodness.
He's really thinking. He's thunking.
I hope it's not the case where the battery's almost dead. I haven't used it in a bit. I think it might be dead.
Drats.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see what happens when I put it on there. Yeah. I think I need to replace the battery on this, but we'll get it later. It does have some decent heft to it, though. It's not heavy like say Biollante or anything like that, but it's definitely heavier feeling than holding the Godzilla 1972 figure. Okay.
Well, okay.
Oh, go ahead.
There was just one more question, and then it just stops. So whether you want to continue answer. Okay. Josh Knott, final question. Even if a figure has messed up eyes, how do they get past the quality control inspection?
So Bandai has a policy that if there is any scratches or anything like that that are less than 5 millimeters, that it will pass quality control. They call that variance. It depends on the collector if that is too much of a variance for them, but that's just how Bandai does it. Otherwise, that's a lot of figures that would be fails, right? So when it comes to eye alignment, let me finish up this and I'll acknowledge that.
Okay.
So when it comes to eye alignment, it's the same thing. They look at it as a variance problem, even if they're wackadoo eyes and everything. They just, I think Kyle said it for like every 1,000 figures or something like that, you're going to get like maybe 10 bad ones or something like that. So it's unfortunate that it does happen. If you were to, let me put it this way. If you lived in Japan and you tried to return your figure because you had wonky eyes, they would probably say, sorry, we can't accept that return. This is variance. And that's just the way that the company policy works. That's how they operate. Here in America, it's a little bit different. We have different outlets to return things to. So if you were to submit a claim to Bandai directly, they would probably tell you the same thing. It's not good enough to send a return. However, if you order from sites like Big Bad Toy Store or Amazon or Entertainment Earth that have no questions asked return policies, you are able to return it for any reason. If you don't like the way that the paint looks on its face or the eyes not aligned correctly, you can return it for any reason. So, but hopefully you'll just get a good one the first time around. You don't have to go around and get another one. So, Robo Lizard, thank you so much. Wow, super chat. Wow, amazing. Thank you so much for your support. Can't thank you enough. Wow. And you know what? For that, we're going to highlight that just for a minute. Thank you so much.
Is this going to go towards the Godzilla 2000 variances?
Oh, yes. Yes. And we have 6 of those on the way, so shh.
Jeez.
I know, right? Well, you know what? A lot of people really want that one, so I picked up a couple extras for some people that were asking for it. So, but we're only going to review 4. We're not going to review 6.
Good.
All right, so let's get back to Anguirus right here, everybody. Thank you so much, Robo Lizard, again. Super appreciate your support. You're awesome. Absolutely awesome. Okay, so going back to leg articulation, we can get this all the way out, bent there. You can bend inwards, outwards, inwards. You can straighten that leg to do like a karate chop. High kick, if you will. You can't get the leg to bend all the way straight, though. That's as far as it's going to go. Because you got this knee bend right here. It's not going to go straighter than that.
Good enough, I think.
Yeah. And as far as the ankle going downwards, you're not going to get it that far. That's basically it before it pops off. So, but going the opposite direction... Yeah. So going the opposite direction, though, you're going to be able to get it a lot further than that. Gotta pop this back on. Oh, my gloves are slipping. 1 second. Let me bring this down.
That sound of it just exiting the socket was truly horrifying. That scared me.
Here, I gotta do this behind the camera. I can't do this in front of the camera. I have no leverage from the angle that I'm sitting.
I deal with that horror every day, my friend. Every day.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
That's the thing. When you're testing out limits of stuff, things are going to pop off.
Yeah. Speaking of which, only one pop off on that high of 91 so far.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was the tip of the tail. That was my fault.
So back with feet articulation, you can't go further than this. You see that right there? That's as far as it's going to go. It'll pop off if you do that. However, going the opposite direction, it is designed so that you can get all the way over there, all pretty much almost touching the shin like that.
Wow,
absolutely incredible.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, on the opposite side, yeah, you can get it pretty flat like that. That's crazy.
Nuts.
But yeah, and then as far as let me zoom out a little bit there. So as far as leg articulation goes, though, you can't, if I were to force this, I could make it go all the way around 360, but I'm not going to. But you've got extra articulation right there on the side. You've got your bending knees right here. As far as the knee goes, that's it. That's all the knee articulation that you're going to get.
Mm.
It won't go more than that. So most of that bend is going to come here in the ankles, though, when you're posing that Anguirus, making him go on the ground like that.
Just probably about as much as you would need, you think, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's as far as, yeah, you're definitely going to get more mileage that way. Let's look at the tail. The tail articulation, this is great. This guy can, we can go all the way up. Now, I'm going to see how far we can get it, but I think we can get it to touch the shell or the carapace. Yeah, pretty close to it. Damn. Pretty close. Yeah. Oh, maybe.
Those are the curves we like.
Look at that. I just keep going.
Wow.
So that tail articulation is, hot damn, look at that. Almost touching the head.
He's pointing to the neck
Pretty close. Yeah. As far as the side to side, it's moving pretty well. It's not, you've got some decent range in here. It's not like a Godzilla tail where it's really close, in the segments and it's hard to move. Oh, there we go. Went too far on that one. So, wow. But you can twist this so that it's even more. Wow, goodness.
Jeez. That's just lovely.
And as far as downwards go, you're going to get more articulation going downwards than you were going the other direction, except for the tail tip right here. The tail tip's kind of pre-bent upwards, so. But let's see. We asked about it earlier. Can he roll up into a ball? Let's try it out. Let's try it out. We're going to go with the... Oh, I pushed down too hard in the middle. Well, you know what? Before we do that, why don't we just explore that since I already just did it. So this is the shell.
Perfect timing, Michael. Somebody just asked.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so the shell is on the ring. Like I said, it's a floating ring. I've seen some people posting like with Kong holding it up like a shield.
Doomslayer levels.
But there's some decent, there's some decent room right here for the body to move around. As far as, wow, look at that. That is an interesting looking joint. Articulation right there. Yeah, look at that. It's like a hinge. And it kind of goes up and down right there. It's got a stopper in the back, so it won't go further than this. There's a stopper that stops it right here in the back of it. But you can go. So it definitely helps out for moving forward. But that's kind of, this is so unique. I've never seen this for a torso joint before.
No, never.
I'm going to zoom in on that so everybody else can see that a little bit better. Yeah, look at that. That's crazy.
It's nuts. I ain't saying nothing. But no, that is crazy.
Yeah. So
I'm
going to stick this together just to see what it looks like without the...
Oh, it's going to look cursed.
Right? So this is what it looks like without... Right. So this is the backside of Anguirus right there. The copyright info is actually on the inside. No sculpted texture or anything. Oh my goodness. This is like... Mechagodzilla had a heyday, is what I'm seeing here.
Oh no. Oh no.
Wow.
Well,
that is cursed, right?
It's like a bowling ball grew limbs. Jesus, Lord in heaven.
Yeah, look at that. So, but you guys can kind of see a little bit better though how this articulation works in the center, since this part goes around the centerpiece that covers up this big old gap, but you can see it's got that movement though because of that. So you can get that side to side. You won't be able to twist it like this with the carapace on. You're not, no way. But
wouldn't need to.
But you know, when we have it bend over like that, like, I mean, that's how much of a gap it creates. Look at that. That's insane.
Wow.
So I'm gonna put this back together now.
Please, God, this is so wrong.
If you ever do take it apart, everybody, it's easy to remember which way it goes on because the back side is smaller than you got the cutout right here for where the back of the head goes. So you're just gonna stick this on like so, and hopefully it'll snap back on because that piece likes to move forward right there.
It's like when KSI took his bandana off. It ain't right.
Right? Right? It's not right at all.
Bro had a quadruple
oh my God.
forehead. Oh, God.
Yeah. Wow. These are images that I just don't have to see in my head, right? Thanks, guys.
Well, it's on the internet forever now.
Okay. So we were going to attempt to make this go into a ball. So let's see if I can do it. Well, I don't think it's going to be 100%. I don't think it's going to be 100% possible, but I think we'll get somewhere in there.
At the very least, he can do the Alien 3 poster art.
Yeah, something like that. So we can get him. I think this is as far as it's going to go, though, without anything popping off. Ah, that was it. Too far.
There we go.
Yeah. Here, just give me a second. I'll do it just.
Yeah. The limits
Yeah, that's as far as it's going to go as far as the bending into the ball. I don't think it's going to get quite there. If I were to heat treat this a little bit more right now, but that's it. That's as far as it's going to get.
Still a pretty good, like, curve and bend in, honestly. Like, for something that has a ring floating at the center of its torso, the bend and everything is really, really nice.
Yeah. And you can, it's because of the clearance right here between that, it works so well. Like, I don't know if you guys can see it that well from this angle. I'm going to try and zoom in on that. But you can see that bit of a gap.
Mm.
So that's enough. Like, the whole sunken part of the torso is inside the sculpt now. But the ring covers it up so it doesn't look so bad. You can just move the arms. You'll see it better this way.
That's just good planning.
So, yeah. It can look ugly, but I think it's smart in how they did this. So, but yeah, that is the leg or the tail articulation. Let me just pull it out a little bit. Let's see. We can. It's solid. I know it popped off a couple times when I was moving it, but that was just because I was forcing it too far. But just, loosey goosey. Like, that's
Look at that
fluid.
wave. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And as far as like getting it to go off to the side, I mean, it's got some range on there. And I can get it even more. I'm sure if I were to heat treat this a little bit more, we can get it even more intense. Okay. Any other questions about articulation before we get on to the variance comparison here?
If you got questions, ask them, friends and neighbors.
Yeah, if you got any questions, this is it. This is the moment.
Yeah. Maybe whenever we get a Final Wars Angie. I just have like such a feeling that the Movie Monster series is going to do Anguirus rolled up into a ball as like a Godzilla store exclusive and put a tag on it and make it look hilarious.
Oh, yes.
And I'd be fine with that. Oh, here's a great question. Why is he so perfect from Broom?
He just is. It's how do the kids say it today? It's aura, right? It's got that Anguirus aura. It's aura. Okay. Let's get all four. You see how that, you know what? Look at that. as far as, see how that's a little loose at the hip right there?
Mm.
You know, but that's only because I'm putting some pressure on it. It just folds out just like that. That's on this figure,
with no
though.
pressure,
Maybe
he'll be fine, right?
Yeah, no pressure. It stays just A-okay. So you just need to be careful when you do that.
Gotcha,
Okay,
gotcha.
so I'm gonna bring out all 4 of them here. I'm gonna move my camera back so we can get more in the shot.
Under pressure.
So we're gonna bring out all 4. We are going to take a look just at a comparison just between the paint style on these guys, because that's a big question. A lot of people worry about that with MonsterArts when it comes to the paint jobs. You know, do we need to worry about it? Are they gonna look okay? Is it consistent? That good stuff.
Yeah. And for this guy in particular, I haven't seen really any horror stories so far, so that's quite nice.
Yeah, it is. So we've got that one there. Just gonna kind of get these posed in a similar way. It's moving the legs at first when you guys start doing this, it is going to be a little bit of a learning curve because it's just like, how do I bend the ankles, without it looking awkward? But once when you just kind of have the figure kind of sit on itself, it just kind of falls into place. Let me just move that back out that way. And then we'll get this other one here. I mean, I'm really enjoying this, and this is somebody who, I have the Revoltech, and we'll bring that out for comparison too, so that we can see what that looks like on here. But the ankles, the way that they do the ankles on this is just so much better. It's done so in a way better way.
Yeah, just seeing the curve forward for those hind ankles is just nuts.
Oh yeah.
Like they did a banger job. Be proud, Bandai. Be proud.
Okay. So let's get into comparison here. All right. So we've got all 4 of these guys sitting here on the table. I'm going to bring the camera just a little bit closer. Okay. So in terms of articulation, I'm sorry, the eye paint, the eye decals, I'm going to put these guys straight on so that everybody else can see it. They're pretty much in the same position across all 4 figures. Like, I don't see any... You know what? We're just going to hold up one at a time just to see it. So, they're not looking forward. They're off to the sides. This is what MonsterArts usually does with a lot of their figures. They don't usually do the straightforward look.
Which is fine.
But they're both... Yeah. So they look like that in that one. And then here's our second one. It's pretty much in the same spot. Here's the third one. And then here's our fourth one.
Yeah, that looks pretty par for the course for each of them.
Yeah, and then when we look at the decal itself on all 4 of them, it's placed in the same spot right there. I'm trying to remember. So we have 4. That was the 4th one. This is the 3rd one right here. Yeah, look at that. It looks just great on both sides of that. We'll look at this one here. Oh, they just look... I just wish they use decals all the time when they do eyes. They just look so much better.
They really do. I mean, this is just fully night painted. And day. Wow.
So, and then as far as tusks go, this one's got a little bit of paint dribble right there on the side of the tooth. Let's see if they're all like that. So that would be considered, variance. If you wanted to return that to Bandai, they would say, no, that's not good enough. But that's clean on this one right here. Let's look at, that was number 2. Here's number 3. Clean on number 3. And then 4th one on the tusks. That looks good on the tusks on that one too. So not bad, just one little dribble on one of them, one little paint drip. As far as the mouth goes and the teeth goes, let's look at that. So it's not so bad.
No.
There's a little bit of, right here, a little bit caked on the bottom of that row. You know, this is getting to the point where we look at these and we're just like, oh, we're gonna. It's just so small. It's more of a variance kind of thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's clean though. This one's pretty clean. Let's look at this guy here. You see how it sprung up like that? If you if you do it nice and slow, it won't spring up. But yeah, the teeth look good on this one too. And then let's look at this one right here.
This one's pretty good too.
Yeah, this one's pretty clean on the inside too. As far as the shading goes on the crowns, at this point I'm just going to hold them in order and we'll just do a pan.
Frying pan.
So yeah, we're just looking at shading on the crown area right there. Looks good. I mean, really, it's kind of hard to see any differences, you know?
Yeah, like, even when trying to look for something to, like, look at, I guess I should say, I mean, they're all pretty on point. I can't spy anything.
I think that helps that, you know, there's not a lot of shading differences between each of these. So the paint is mostly consistent between every single one, right? The only thing that's going to be maybe mildly different is the shading on the claws. So I'm going to put the claws down right now for these guys, and we'll take a closer look at the claws. The back claws look good too.
I'm just really surprised with the forearm spikes. I mean, so far, it's like they've been pretty on point too.
Yeah. So we're looking at claws now and the little spikes on the legs. I really like the blending though. It looks nice. Cat hair. Yeah, that blending on those claws, it looks great.
It's bonkers.
Let's look at the carapace on all these guys. Yeah, some of these definitely have looser legs at the hips than other ones. Let me get these posed upright. But, you know, at least it will hold the pose. I can get this positioned correctly. I'm going to have to bring out the leg a little bit more on this one. There we go.
Yeah, and in
so
all honesty,
the back of the carapaces.
The carapace was the one area where I was like, "Oh, how are we going to do this?" But already, look at that.
Oh yeah. Man, I just really like the way it looks. It's almost like an illusion, an eye illusion. Like it looks like it's like spiraling in a certain way, but it's really not.
If you stare long enough at it without blinking, you'll see an image of Mario. Yeah, man, they crushed this.
And all four of these, you know, all four of them, they look really great when it comes to the shading on the inside of this shell area. You know, there's no there's no major instances where I look at it and go, oh wow, that's a lot of paint goop on there, you know. But for the most part, I'm pretty impressed. I'm gonna angle these off to the side. Wow. So here's another look at that. You can see all that detail on there too. You know, and that just goes to show none of these are identical. They're all painted slightly different, you know, towards the tips and everything, you know. But there's a consistency to it at the same time.
I mean, I gotta give him credit. I'm sure with the carapace, a lot of people are like, how are we going to do this? And you got 4 right in front of you right now, and it's like, sheesh.
Oh, yeah. And even the tail tips, you know, they're on point with the tail tip too. Let me just move these guys out. Dang. I'm going to say it. I think this is, so far on my list, this is figure of the year for Monster Arts so far.
I don't think I could disagree.
We'll see what else. We'll see what else happens to the rest of the year, right? But let's look at the front of these guys now. The front area.
Well, now that Anguirus and Gamma are out, but for Godzilla at least, it's just Godzilla 2000 for right now, right?
That's true. Godzilla 2000 might steal the show.
And unless
because Godzilla 2000 that's a highly anticipated figure. Just as Anguirus has got its fan following, right? So, but
people have been asking for
Godzilla 2000.
Anguirus.
Yeah, Godzilla 2000 is just as big though. Even though it's not the 1999 suit, it's still, you know, it's close enough where people are like, I need that, you know?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I've just kind of re-angled these guys a little bit so we can see the front.
He's doing a nice little dance.
Yeah.
Hey.
What do you want?
I'm walking it.
I mean, you know, there's no blending or anything. I think what's gonna make it appear like there's some blending on the main body is just the semi-gloss effect. It's just gonna have those shadows casting on it. But for the most part, it's pretty much the same. And then we get down to the feet.
The shadows really do make it look like there's shading on there.
Yeah. And that works for a desired effect of a sort. So, and we've got our feet. Let's see if we can get these closer here.
Feet.
Yeah, so there's the feet, some shading on those claws. Even actually towards the base of the claw where it meets the skin, it's got a nice shade of a darker brown color.
Wowzers.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, when it comes to variants, it's very minute. There's not a lot of differences. The shading on the horn is mostly consistent throughout all these guys. The crown, even on the backside of the carapace, it all looks pretty solid. You're not going to know the difference unless you have 4 in your hand, right? I think we can appreciate that the eye paint is fantastic on all 4 of these. There's no differences right there. I haven't even seen any differences with other people's that they've posted online when it comes to the eye paint. Like, it all looks consistent, and that's what we like to see with this line is consistency. You know, we'll take
absolutely
it when we can get it.
Okay.
Bandai,
stick with decals for eyes, please.
Yes, please keep the decals. They just look so much better. Imagine Final Wars Godzilla, what that would look like if it had decals for its eyes instead of the dot matrix. It would look so much better.
Damn.
Damn indeed. Okay, so let's get into. We're gonna take out all 4 of these. That's our variance comparison. It looks great. It's mostly the same across the board, just some differences in the shell, the carapace. For now, I'm going to bring out some figures for some comparisons. I think before we bring out the 1972 Godzilla and Gigan, we're going to bring out the Revoltech Anguirus figure.
Oh, yes.
So that we can get some good comparisons. A lot of people have asked, should I get rid of my old Revoltech if I've got the new one right here? And I don't think you should. I think you should hold on to it, and we'll talk about why. Let me just get this in a similar pose. Yeah. Oh man, it's just so natural in how this just posed just like this. It was once when you get used to it, because it took me a minute to kind of get used to it, but now that I've gotten used to it, now it just falls in line very easily. Okay. So this is with the Revoltech Anguirus. Right off the bat, the big thing I noticed with this guy right here is you can't get that angle bend. You're not going to get that ankle bend that this guy has. It's just not possible because this is just one joint on that foot right there. This one is a little bit more of an olive green brown color, whereas this one's a total brown color, right? And there's a reason for that. The idea is that this one, since it's from 1972, the suit is a lot more dirty from being used in the previous movie. I was looking at a lot of stills and kind of comparing that, and it just is a little bit more of a dirtier color, compared by comparison. So I think that's why they went with this color. Now, if they ever reissued the 1972 Anguirus as a 1968 version, I think they'll go for more of this color scheme. There's a difference in the head too. I don't know if you guys can see the difference in the jaw, actually. That's where it is. The jaw sculpt is a little bit different on the Revoltech.
It's like it droops.
So I'm going to move these a little bit closer. So this one's kind of got a little bit more angle on it right there, whereas this one's just more, it's just more straight, I guess.
Mm.
I don't know how to really describe it, but it's just...
It's a bit less droopy.
Yeah.
With the S.H.MonsterArts.
Yeah, you can see, and I don't even think you can close this. Yeah, I mean, that's as far as you can close that. It's not so bad. But I think that both have a place, because if you have both of them in the collection, it's nice. It's a nice difference. I think the carapace is also smaller on the Revoltech too, by comparison. Like, I'm gonna get it on a side-by-side view. Yeah, I think there's not as much coverage for this one. Like, you can see more of the tail end right there, where I think this is more, it covers a lot more for sure.
And what year did the Revoltech come out? That was the early 2000s, right?
I think I honestly, I don't really know when it came out. I know it was in the 2000s. I think it was retailing for maybe about $25 or something like that when this one came out. And this one is completely soft plastic. Like, this is like a vinyl on top of it. You can just move that. With this one right here, it's a softer plastic, but it doesn't have that vinyl feel to it or anything. But it is softer. You can touch this. I think I mentioned this earlier in the stream. If you touch this, it's not going to be like Godzilla Vault where it's going to cut up your hands. It's very soft. Very soft to the touch.
Which is nice.
And the eye paint is on the Revoltech. It's not bad. It's different. They use I think they use a decal too. Yeah, they do use a decal. It's similar. The pupils, I think it's more of a black, whereas the MonsterArts is more of a greenish kind of coloration.
Yeah, they definitely gave him a bit more life.
Yeah, and then so I'm going to start bringing out some figures for some comparisons here. Let's get out. One of the reasons why I think you should keep your Revoltech Anguirus actually is because of this figure itself. you're going to see why.
Oh, I can't wait. What's Task going to pull out of his bag of tricks?
Yeah. So this is why I think you should keep your Revoltech Anguirus, because you've got this right here.
Oh, there
You've got
he
your
is.
Mechagodzilla. You've got your Mechagodzilla with Anguirus. Now, when they did Mechagodzilla in 1974, this was with the older Showa scale in mind. So he stands at like 5.75 inches tall. And, you know, it doesn't look so bad in here. But I've seen some other photos where he looked a lot smaller, but they don't scale the same at all. Like, Anguirus is massive compared to Mechagodzilla. And you'll see, I'm going to zoom out right here. So you can see, like, he's just way bigger than Mechagodzilla. So if you have your Revoltech Anguirus, I think that will scale better.
Oh yeah.
With your Mechagodzilla. That's what it should look like.
I'm so jealous you have a Mechagodzilla.
Yeah. And this one I added a little bit of a and this guy actually did a little custom work on it. I added a black wash to it. Let me just turn down my brightness. You can see a little bit better.
Oh yeah.
So I added a little bit of a black wash to it just to fill out some of those details, because and fun fact for anybody that's watching, when they initially did solicitation for Mechagodzilla 1974, it did have some weathering effects, but Toho insisted that they go with the clean look for the first version of the figure. So they removed all the weathering and it's just a clean version of the figure. So the idea is it's supposed to not enter battle in the first place. But I just added some black wash throughout the whole sculpt, and I think it really makes the details pop a lot more. So especially like here at the elbows and everything. So if you have this figure and you want to see it look a little bit better, just add a little bit of black wash to it. It's going to make it pop. But yeah, but Anguirus, it's, in my opinion, the scale is, I mean, if you look at that hand right there, Mechagodzilla's hand, if he's supposed to be like ripping out his tongue, like look how small that hand is.
He got them dainty Patton Oswalt hands.
Yeah, exactly. So let me go grab Gigan. We're going to get Gigan out here. We're going to get Godzilla 1972, and we'll have a special guest come out too. How's that sound?
Oh, I'm excited.
Special guest appearance. That's not a MonsterArts figure.
What?
I know, right?
What is this?
All right. So first up, let's put Gigan out here. So there's Gigan with Anguirus.
So pumped I missed out on Gigan. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, it looks great. They look great together. But you see, when we put Mechagodzilla in there, just so you guys can see the difference in scale, like, he's so much smaller. Like, Mechagodzilla should be just as, it should be up to here. But it's just a small guy. Anyways.
Proof that Bandai doesn't think about scale.
Yeah, it's just they had a different scale in mind with this line, and then they just had a different scale in this line for the Showa figures, and then I think they heard enough people complaining about it, saying, you know what, we want a larger scale Showa figures, and since then they've been doing that with Godzilla 1962 and 72, even Jet Jaguar, Gigan. Unfortunately, Hedorah is on the smaller side, so that was within that old scale. But these guys, they look great together. Look at that.
They do.
Let's bring out Godzilla, 1972.
Oh, so that Ghidorah is probably going to be fuck off massive, huh?
So there's Godzilla, 1972.
The boys. Wow.
They look good together.
They really do. Bruh.
And then here's our special guest figure.
Who is it? Yes!
Yes!
The best Toho Maniacs figure of all time.
Yes, it is. As soon as they put this up, I had to have it because I was going to use this in a lot of photography. So that's how that scales. If anybody was curious, if you own this Toho Maniacs figure, this is how it scales. You know, this is supposed to be larger than Godzilla 2. So I think it really is almost the perfect scale when it comes. You know,
yes.
Let's put them side by side. So this is side by side Godzilla, and I think it really is a good scale.
It is. It definitely
and we'll
is.
Get Gigan there too. You ever notice in the movie though when Gigan and Ghidorah are flying around the Godzilla tower, they're significantly all of a sudden smaller.
Yeah.
They're so much smaller.
And it ain't because they're higher up either.
Yep.
Oh boy.
But yeah, that's the whole crew, and eventually we're gonna get King Ghidorah in 1972 out here, where we're gonna have the whole complete cast put up on display. I'm gonna have to move the camera even further back for that shot right there. But they do look good. They do look good together.
They do.
I did a shot the other day where I had it. There we go. Instant shot, just like that.
That's a thumbnail.
We'll get a little bit lower. The idea, guys, when you do your photography with Monster Arts is you want to get it from the low side. That's what a big mistake a lot of people do when they do their figure photography is they get from a little too high looking down. You want to go up, and that gives a little bit more scale right there.
It's perfect.
Yeah. If you missed out on Gigan, unfortunately, it is pretty much sold out everywhere at this point. So good luck finding that at a good price.
Yeah,
hopefully, maybe you can find it for a good deal elsewhere. But, oh, man, I just really love this figure.
I have not been very successful in finding it for less than $200. So, in time, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. Does anybody else have any other requests for size comparisons? We can bring them out right now.
So please put in your requests now. Who do you want to see besides Anguirus?
Yeah, we got Anguirus there. Oh, you know what? While we wait on that, let me get one of the boxes out.
Oh,
because the boxes have that dialogue on it.
Somebody said your cat.
So on both sides of the box, there is dialogue. Let me just bend these down so we can get them. You know what, the best way to do this, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this correctly, but I'm going to have to hold these up for you guys, but that's the idea, is that if you didn't want to tear up the box or anything like that, you can just have it like this, and now they have their little chat bubbles. If you're not crazy about keeping the boxes, you can cut these out, make your homemade stand with the dialogue. There's on both sides of the box. So there's this side right here. I didn't open this side. Let me open up this one. This will be the box that I keep. And then on the other side of the box opening, there is the okay.
Hurry up.
Yeah. So you can have Anguirus on either side of them, right? So, but it's a neat little Easter egg. I would have liked it if they had these actual accessories as a sign that they just included on here, instead of having you have to cut it out yourself. What I might do is I might make these available on my website. So if you guys want to print them out yourselves and not have to cut out your box, I might make these available on the website download for free. So just look out for that in the future.
Awesome.
But yeah, any other requests for comparisons, we can do that now. We're going to be wrapping up the stream shortly.
We have 96 Gamera, Chogokin Mechagodzilla, 96 Gamera again, bootleg Showa King Ghidorah if you have it, and your cat.
Okay. Well, we will go ahead and get out that bootleg.
You have it?
Of course I do.
Oh, I'm hype. Whoa. Wow, that figure really does look good.
Well, I also customized this and painted it myself.
Oh.
It doesn't look like this out of the box if you guys ever order this. Now, I know some of you are wondering, is this going to be the same one that we're going to get? And the answer is no. This is the 1964 Ghidorah. The 1972 Ghidorah has a different sculpt, different wing sculpt and everything. It's going to look a little bit different from this. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That looks
You know what
great.
we're going to do?
What are we going to do?
Yeah.
Oh my
Just
god,
like
he's
movie.
a madman.
So, but yeah, that's what the bootleg looks like if you guys own it, you want to see what that looks like scale-wise. And this is a custom paint job. If you guys ever order this, it's not going to come, it won't look like this. It's going to look, brown, very, very tan brown. Because I think whoever was doing this, they stole the wrong mold. They were trying to steal the 2019 Ghidorah because that's what it's listed as.
So they were trying to make a bootleg of the 2019 and they ended up getting 64 instead?
Yep. If you look at the boxes for this one right here, it always says 2019 Ghidorah on the box, but it's not the 2019. It's always this guy.
So the fact that we got a heavily articulated Showa King Ghidorah was completely by mistake.
I think so.
I love it. I love it.
And also could be potentially could be because why we never saw it sooner than later, right? Who knows?
Oh.
We had a request for the 96 Gamera, correct?
Yes, we did too.
Yes, we did. We also have some Haya figures here. If anybody wants to see any Haya figures compared with it, we can also break those out too.
Why not?
So here's the 96, the new Gamera.
Shell Brothers.
They look good together, don't they?
They do.
Yeah, in my stream that I did earlier with Gamera, it was one of the things I liked about this figure was that it has a matte coating on there. And I think you can see the big difference between a matte and a semi-gloss. You know, somebody said like, oh, it looks so flat. That's the idea of a matte coating, is it's not shiny by any means, but there's still shading on there.
I mean, I'm looking at my original now, and it's different. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For anybody that wants to know, I still have that one out, so I'll just break it out right now.
Heck yeah.
So, and then this is the original Gamera that was released. This one's got a semi-gloss coat on there, so this one actually has a lot of dry brushing on it, but that semi-gloss kind of gets that paint, the extra paint lost in detail, I think, but
damn.
Yeah. You either like one or the other. I personally like the new one. I like it because Matt is, as they say, Matt is king, so I like that. But the original's not bad either.
No, not at all.
What else? What else did they say that they wanted to see?
Chogokin Mechagodzilla.
We talking about the soul of Chogokin Kiryu?
I imagine
so. Or are they talking about the 1974?
Oh, I would assume 74, but
I don't have that one, but I do have the Soul of Chogokin, and it's massive.
Yeah, that is a big tin can. Good grief! Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a big boy.
It's pretty large.
Jeez.
I have to pull that back a little bit there.
One of these days I'll get one.
Yeah, right? Let me just put this one back. I'll bring out -1. You guys can see what it looks like with -1.
Yeah.
Scale with -1. It's not bad looking.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Master Pikachu 95, Hiya Toys Godzilla 2019 if you have it, or any Hiya Toys Monsterverse Godzilla.
Let me go grab one.
There's a bunch to choose from.
There is. There's a lot to choose from, that's for sure.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth?
I'm going to just grab 2. I don't know which one this one is off the top of my head, but I think it is the 2019. So if you all want to see what it looks like with... Nope, this is the 2021. So here it is with the 2021. Yes, this is V2.
Ah.
V2 2021.
Don't got that one. Look at that.
Yeah. So they look, I mean, it's a much bigger figure. You know, the Hiya figures are in a larger line, a 7-inch line, so they're going to have a little bit of a bigger scale. But if you wanted to see what it looks like posed next to each other, that's it right there. And then here's with the ultimate, or that exclusive Burning Godzilla.
Pizza Goji.
You know what's a fun comparison? Let's bring out a Skullcrawler from Hiya.
Oh.
This is the 2.0 Skullcrawler. These actually don't look so bad next to each other.
Anguirus versus Skullcrawler, when?
Yeah. It's actually, you know, Anguirus is definitely bigger than that one. We've also got the Muto. Oh, Mogira? Yeah, we can get on Mogira. Here's with the Muto.
Mommy Muto. Damn.
Somebody asked about Mogira.
Yes.
Yeah, let's get on Mogira. Well, this is let's see here. This Mogira is the recent version that was released. There you go.
He looks nice.
I had mine posed in the dock, so it's kind of straight facing right now. So this is the new Mogira, the new paint scheme on that. Damn, do you ever look at Mogira and you just play that theme song in your head?
I was just about to say, I need to get me a Mogira.
Here's one that nobody's bringing up, but I'm going to bring out is Jet Jaguar.
Jet Jaguar. Jaguar.
So here's our Jet Jaguar. If I can get him to stand just A-okay. That's the thing without a tail, right? You got to find the balance.
Yeah.
Come on, you silly. There we go. So this is with Jet Jaguar. You know, I remember when the Anguirus was first solicited, everybody was saying, "Oh, it's such a small figure," but it's really a big figure. Like, it's just got a lot of width to it.
Yeah, like that's going to be a bit of a shelf hog. Long ways,
Like,
at least.
here's our, yeah. I mean, like, just on its side like that.
Yeah, that ain't no small boy.
Yeah. So, but he looks great. Um, one other thing. This is a personal project I'm working on. Maybe I will be making it available to everybody, but I'm also doing a hook G grip hooked version of Jet Jaguar.
I need to get that Jet Jaguar.
Just gotta paint it up.
Nice.
That looks great.
Though.
I'm gonna bring out the let's see here. What else? Do we have any other requests for any size comparisons or anything?
Godzilla 2002 from Broom, and Broom asks if possible the 96 Gamera, since they missed the Gamera stream.
Oh, they missed it. I'll bring it back out in a second. Let me grab 2002 Godzilla. The 2002 Godzilla that I'm bringing out right now is the second reissue. So this one's got the dot matrix eyes. The first issue of 2002 Godzilla uses decals. So this is the second reissue.
Wowzers. They look good together.
They sure do.
Oh, Godzilla Final Wars, mayhaps?
We'll get Final Wars out. I'm going to bring out for Broom 96 Gamera again. So this is for you, dude. There's the 96. This is the most recent one. And then I'll go grab Final Wars. That's the other thing, guys. I will be getting 4 Final Wars Godzillas coming to me probably sometime this coming week. Probably by the end of the week. So we might be doing another live stream unboxing with all 4 of those for you guys to check out.
Sounds like a fun time to me.
All right. I have so many display boxes. I have to remember where I put all of these. And here's your Final Wars. There's your Final Wars Godzilla.
What are you doing?
Bring that a little bit closer there. Yeah, I like my Final Wars Godzilla. It looks great. What else can we do?
We got another request for MG74 from Kaiju Connection.
MG74, yeah, we'll bring him back out again. Unfortunately, he's just so much smaller than Anguirus.
He's a tiny guy, but he looks awesome.
Let me just turn down the brightness on that. Yeah, he's just because I have the camera angled upwards, from the ground level, it doesn't look too bad, but when you go up a little bit higher and you look down on it, you can definitely see there's a giant scale difference. Or even when I just put these guys further apart from each other, like just Anguirus is so much bigger than Mechagodzilla.
'91 Ghidorah?
91, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you guys are making me drag out the big ones.
They're going to make you work for this one.
The 91 Ghidorah. We're going to bring out the classic. We're not going to bring out the special color. So I will be bringing out... This was actually my... this was the first MonsterArts figure that I picked up, was the first King Ghidorah.
So there's sentimental totalities.
Yeah. So this is... Let me just bring out those wings. There you go.
Jesus, God in heaven. Wow.
And if we compare that, I'll bring out the Showa again.
Oh. Dear Lord.
There you go.
That's a lot of French fry.
Yeah. A lot of gold, right?
Oh, yeah. Damn.
Yeah, I can't wait for the 1972 to come out. I'm very curious because Sakai's stylization that he does is bringing these creatures to life so they don't match the suits. And the suit of the 1972 Ghidorah was in poor condition. So I'm very curious to see how he's going to make that look a lot more realistic and without those suit proportions on there.
Possibly even better.
I'm hoping that it'll be better. But 1964 has just got a certain look to it, you know?
Yeah. Damn.
Oh, well, thank you. Broom is complimenting the fantastic job on the 64 paint job. Yeah, that was my first custom figure I ever painted. So, you know, anybody could do it. I used it was all done with an airbrush kit. I had some trial and error when I was doing it, but I think it turned out good. What I used to paint this was a pearl gold, and then I topped it off with a bronze. So it has a bronze wash to it. So in between all the scales, there's some bronze paint. You can kind of see it even on the. And I even went through and I sanded some of this stuff down because there were some spots where they took it off from the mold. It didn't look so good because it's a bootleg, right? So.
Wow.
But yeah, so that's. I'm gonna take one more request here for size comparisons or another figure. Anybody else got one left? And then we'll wrap up with the Q&A, and then we'll wrap up the stream.
Kaiju Connection asks for Gigan 72.
I can bring that one out again. We'll bring that out again. I'll give one more size comparison that's not ones that I already brought out already. So, but this one I'll bring out one more time, and we'll bring out Godzilla 72 as well.
The boys. The next one to come up was Mechagodzilla 2021 or the old tanks.
The old tanks. Oh, the little Maser tanks?
The G-Force tanks, yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty small.
Tiny.
That's potentially what we're looking at for the whole set, though, right? They look good together. They sure do.
Sheesh. And I'm going to be missing again.
Yeah. Well, Rob, you know you mostly do movie monsters figures, so having to dip between Haya and Monster Arts, it's a lot on your wallet these days, isn't it?
Yeah, especially since Movie Monster series is trying to do multiple releases a month.
Right? You can't catch a break.
I can't, but I might have to sacrifice some for Ghidorah because Showa Ghidorah is like my favorite. And likely the only of my favorite Ghidorahs to get an S.H.MonsterArts, so.
Oh, yeah. So this is Mechagodzilla 2021 with Anguirus. Nothing but die-cast metal. Looks good, right? You know what I really like about this figure is the tail. The tail, you can just go just about any direction on this guy, and it can just go anywhere.
You're not making it easier to overlook the new version coming out, Michael.
Oh, I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
I'm really excited for that one.
That's going to be a beast.
It sure is.
Woof.
All right, so I'm gonna put all four of these guys, or not all four. I'm gonna put Gigan and the Godzilla Tower back here. We're going to wrap everything, guys, up with a Q&A session. So if you want to stick around, we're done showing off the figures at this point. If you want to just stick around for some Q&A, you're welcome to do that. We'll do that for a couple more minutes. And then we are going to wrap the stream. So I'm going to head over to the computer area right now, and we will go ahead and highlight some comments. But yeah, for anybody else that wants to jump off, hey, thanks for joining us today. Really appreciated it.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining in, asking questions.
Yeah, and go ahead and ask away. I'm going to head over to the computer and we'll highlight some comments there.
Sounds good.
Prehistoric Toys. Hello. Welcome. Daniel Dickerson, I love how Bandai gave us a giant 21 Mechagodzilla because they ballooned the size a bit too much. Yeah, I mean, it is a larger. That's the thing about these figures is when they work with MonsterVerse characters, they're working on these guys before the movie's done, so there's a lot of guessing that takes place, and it's all approved by the licensor at the end of the day. So, yeah, Mechagodzilla 21, you know, a lot of people ask, why doesn't it have the shading in it? Why is it missing so much red? And they even answered this at SDCC last year. They were saying, we didn't see the movie, so we didn't know what it would look like other than the CGI file that we had. So that's why it looks the way it looks. And thanks to everybody's feedback, and years later, that's why we're getting the new version now. Well, thank you, from Broom. Well, thank you, Tass and Rob, for the overview. Anguirus looks great, and now I'm even more excited to get him. Yes, get this figure, guys. If you haven't thought about picking it up, get it. I think it's a total win for Monster Arts this year so far. We'll see what happens with the 2000 Godzilla, but definitely pick these guys up.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
If you haven't found 1972 Godzilla, yeah, if you haven't found 1972 Godzilla, you can probably still kind of get one on eBay for maybe a little bit over MSRP, but him and Gigan, they're on their way out. Have you seen my MG yet? I don't know. Was this somebody that asked? I don't know the context of this. Was this somebody asked about if I put Mechagodzilla out? I did.
Well, from Kaiju Connection, sounds like they're asking if you've seen their Mechagodzilla yet. I don't know. Maybe they made a Mechagodzilla.
If you did a custom one, I haven't seen it. So feel free to tag me if you're posting on Instagram with it. I can take a look from there. Is Final Wars Anguirus possible? Yes, it is on the master list of targeted characters that Bandai is looking at for the future creation. So it's on the list. I'll put it that way. I don't know when it's going to come out, but it's on the list. Same thing with SP Anguirus. That is also on the list.
Oh my God! Could you imagine? Oh.
Okay, beautiful. I got you, man. I'll take a look at that later. Let's see here. They all look cool together. They sure do. I hope that they reissue the Godzilla Tower because a lot of people slept on that. They were unsure about getting it. As soon as I saw the measurements, I knew that was going to scale with Monster Arts very well, though. So I didn't hesitate. I jumped on that right away. Have Bandai used the dot matrix once again for the Final Wars? Godzilla really? Yes, I've already seen some photos of it. They do use the dot matrix, and the eyes are different from the first issue. The pupils, notably, are smaller than the first version. What are your plans when Supernova comes out? You know, it's a bit too early to have plans, in my opinion, for that. Once when the movie gets closer to come out, you know, I've gone to every premiere for when these things come out. I don't know if everybody watched the Godzilla X Kong premiere. I was there. I had the Godzilla 21 and the Kong 21 figures there, and I was able to hand them to Adam Wingard. He was taking photos with them for a brief second, so that was a unique experience. So hopefully I'll be able to make it out to the premiere again for the Supernova, and we'll bring some figures along for the ride. The Final Wars re-release doesn't look promising. What are your thoughts? You know, I've seen one photo where the eyes don't look so great, but I've seen a lot of photos where the eyes do look good. So we'll just see. I have 4 of them coming my way, and hopefully we'll get 4 great ones.
Hopefully. Oh,
it's kind of hard to tell when you're looking at other people's photos. Everybody has different lighting setups, so it's kind of hard to tell if there's different shades or anything. When reissues come about, there's not usually different. There's no differences in sculpt or joint, or actually, yeah, sculpt and joint engineering. What you can expect is tolerance differences and paint differences with these kind of things. So hopefully we'll see a better joint tolerance, because I know a lot of people complained about Final Wars just not holding itself together. It's also made in the Vietnam factory, so temper expectations.
Woof.
All right.
My mouse disappeared.
Oh no!
It's connected, but I can't find it.
Oh. Yeah.
Any plans for Showa Rodan?
Are there any plans for Showa Rodan? Right now they're focusing on 70s monsters for Showa, so it's going to be a little bit longer before we get into 60s monsters. They did 1964 Godzilla, but it's going to be, I think it'll be a little bit longer before we see any 60s monsters. Let's finish up the 70s first, right? We got Megalon, we got Titanosaurus, Mechagodzilla 2. Let's get through those guys, and then we'll start getting into some 60s characters.
There it is.
So I'm not Bandai, but I can tell you this. Kaiser Ghidorah is on the list of targeted monsters, so hopefully we will see that in the future. It's going to be a very large figure if it's done in scale with the rest of the cast, so yeah, watch out.
Expect Queen Legion prices for something like that?
I don't think it's going to be as high as Legion. Legion is a very, very complicated figure. That one's got a transformation gimmick and everything in there. I think Kaiser Ghidorah is a little bit more simple when it comes to articulation engineering. By comparison to Legion,
Yeah.
Let's all chant it. Titanosaurus, Titanosaurus.
It needs to happen. It does.
Yeah.
That thing's going to sell so quick.
Let's just put it this way. Why are they reissuing the 2004 Godzilla, right? Why are they doing that? Because they like to put out things in pairs, right? So maybe there is another Final Wars Godzilla, or not Godzilla, but a bad guy from the movie that's going to be there. Who knows? We'll see what happens.
Uh-oh.
What are you hoping to see with the new 2000 figure? The joints look interesting, especially in the elbows. They actually highlighted that there is new joint engineering in the arms, in the head of the figure as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be really dynamic, though. It has potential to be better than Final Wars, but we'll see. Final Wars is very, very flexible, though. That out of all the Godzillas out there, that one can move the best out of all of them.
That's going to be an interesting comparison. That is for true.
We have Godzilla Millennium from Godzilla. Yep, that's it. That's the one that we were just talking about, yeah. How different are the two Showa Mechagodzillas anyways? Oh, there's a lot of differences there. Oh, so many. We're not going to go into too many details without a visual example, but I will tell you this. There is different design parts, like the shoulder blades are different. The cuts around the neck is different. Even the design on the torso, as well as the legs area, is different. Because the idea of this character is it's been rebuilt, so things have been modified. So from a distance, if you looked at them, they look the same. But when you look closer, that's when you see those differences. And it's beyond the MG2 logo on the side. The the character's been rebuilt, so it's a lot rougher around the edges. There's proportions that are more dented. It's less clean looking, but it's leaner as well. The character is leaner than it was in the first one, especially around the torso area.
Yeah, I'm a fan of MG2 over MG74, but at
Yeah.
this
Oh
point,
yeah.
I'll take anything.
The fingers
Oh,
are also
yeah.
longer too.
Mm-hmm. Creepier.
They should bring back the Kyoku soul to make a Gabra that will roar at you every. Oh my goodness.
Could you imagine?
Oh my god. Oh wow. Yeah.
Oh,
I kind of wish that they finished doing that Shin Godzilla that they were doing, but from what I understand, it was a very ambitious project to have it articulated while having a wire throughout the whole entire figure, so they shelved it. And there was a little bit of Shin fatigue at the time too. There was a lot of it was towards the end of that marketing campaign all over the place. You know, that was kind of coming towards the tail end of it, so they stopped doing it, unfortunately. Burning Godzilla would also make a great candidate for that line if they ever go back to it. As of last year, they said they are not pursuing that line right now. They're focusing on other properties.
which, hey, that's fine. That is perfectly fine.
Final War's articulation is peak. Yes, it is. As long as it doesn't fall apart, it's great. They should make a Showa Kong figure with a lightning bolt and accessories. Yeah, they can do it. They can get the rights for it. From why I talked to them, is it any difficult with any other character? And they said it's not difficult. It's just a matter of timing, when to do it.
Interesting that you say that.
Yeah. Kong 62 is a very interesting licensing thing. So if you're talking about movies, it's a separate issue, right? And figures, it's a separate issue, and it depends on who's doing the figures, right? If Bandai's doing figures, they can probably pull it off easily. I mean, I'm talking about like movie monsters, you know. If they wanted to do another version of that, they can. I know YMF, is it YMF?
YMSF. Yeah.
Yeah, they do their version of it, but they do it under their Raymond Toys brand that they've got. So, but it's not entirely impossible. I asked about that, and they said that they can if they really wanted to do it, they could get the license to do it.
Wow. Should be an interesting
This question gets a little cut off, but I'll read the whole thing. I'm wondering how they would do a Kaiser Ghidorah figure. The articulation cuts would be very interesting to see for such a big and wide figure. I mean, Monster Arts is king when it comes to articulation engineering and hiding those cuts, making them look seamless. So, I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen that when promos come out and people are worried that there's even articulation in certain spots. Like with Anguirus, for example, people are like, is it on a wire? What's going on there? But it's so clean that I think it'll look good. I'm hoping it actually looks better than what the suit actually looked like, though.
As long as it looks better than the movie Monster Series version that came out a couple years ago.
Popping back in to ask your thoughts on if there is any chance Monster Arts will do a trio from space. No. That is a long and hard ask right there, Space Amoeba. We recently got the Rebirth trilogy, Mothra trilogy, added to the targeted lists, as well as the Gemstone Godzilla. Anything that's done in the 50s and the 60s is a long, hard ask, unfortunately. So I don't, especially if it's not directly connected to Godzilla. So that's even further away, unfortunately.
Wow. Damn. Space Amoeba can't catch a break.
If allowed to say scale of 1 to 10 likelihood of Megalon down the road. You're trying to get me into trouble. Trying to get me into trouble right there. I can't give you that answer, but wink, 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 wink.
Was that Morse code and wink?
Man, I'll just leave that up to interpretation. This one, I'll read the whole thing. It's cut off here. But my most wanted S.H.MA figure is undoubtedly Orga, but I know that thing is going to be expensive AF, especially with its size, and because it's not super popular. So hopefully they release it after I can save up. Well, I said this earlier in the stream. They're working backwards. If you're watching how they do these figures, so they just did Megaguirus, Godzilla, and then we might get Megaguirus down the road. What's after that? Godzilla 99 and Orga. So we'll see what happens within the next year or so. Don't write it off just yet. It could still happen. I mean, if Legion can happen, right? If Legion can happen, if poster Mechagodzilla from the poster art can happen, Orga's not too far. It's not too far-fetched.
Fingers crossed.
Do you think the Kiryus are going to get a new reissue or special version? I don't think you're going to see a new version of 2002. We already got Shinagawa and we got the base version, but I think there's a good chance of a decisive battle version of 2003. I think there's a good chance of that one.
Hype. Is
Megalon in the planning by MonsterArts? Mahep, are you trying to get me in trouble? Are you the same guy that asked the other one? No, that was Morph. You guys, I cannot answer those questions, unfortunately. If you're asking directly, point blank, is it going to happen? I can't tell you, unfortunately. Just cross your fingers, keep asking on their social media. That's what they ask you guys to do, is to keep asking through there, and maybe it'll happen. We'll see. They should make a Kumonga figure and Manila figure. Oh, you know what? Hot dog, you know what? Give me a second.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Give me 1 second. Hold on, our Kumonga fan. Give me 1 second. I gotta go into a different room.
Imagine the ball joints on a Kumonga from S.H.MonsterArts. Good lord.
Oh, yeah, that would look fantastic.
It would. It'd be perfect, honestly.
So I'm about to bring out a figure that is not... It's not MonsterArts. It's not Bandai. It's not Haya. It's by... I don't know how to actually pronounce it off the top of my head, but it's D'Agostoni or something like that. Just so we can have this in the shot. Here is our Kumonga.
Whoa.
Let me raise this up since it's... I'll hold this up for you guys to see. So this is to get this, you have to order through a magazine subscription, and they give it to you in parts and you assemble it. It's not articulated, but it's a 1/700 scale is what it is. So I picked this up because I don't have any good reps, and I don't want really to buy the X Plus figure because it's so big. But I thought the sculpt on this one looked fantastic, because they have some misses. When it comes to sculpt in that line, there's some misses in that, some big misses. But this one looks great, and they have a Kamacuras one that's coming out in July, so I'm looking forward to that myself. Let me look at the eyes on this guy right here.
That is a really beautiful, freakishly ugly, awesome spider. I hate spiders.
Yeah, and you know, if MonsterArts did this, they would give it the prism eyes, you know, that prism effect.
Mm-hmm.
And they would be translucent plastic. They would do those ball joints right here they wouldn't use hinge. I don't think they'd use hinge. I think they do ball joints still. So
it's perfect for S.H.MonsterArts. A giant.
This is a solid figure. Unfortunately, to get all parts, I think you had to buy this in 3 parts, and each part is roughly about $20 each. So it ends up being about $60. But I ended up finding this on Zen Market for a really, really good price. It was already built by the person, and they were selling it for $25, $30, and then I just had to pay the shipping on top of it. So you can find these on eBay. They also, I think they just started selling these on the US Godzilla store as well. So check that out if you don't have any of that. Yeah. I'm going to put these guys back in the shot right there. But yeah, that was the... I can't pronounce it for the life of me. D'Agostoni or something like that, so... But yeah, definitely think about getting that if you're interested in those characters right there.
Wow.
They did a Final Wars Rodan 2. That one scales perfectly with MonsterArts. So, okay. Sorry, I had to go back. Gemstone will be peak if he is made. Gemstone's on the list, man. Gemstone is on the list. Pray. You're good, Morph. You're good. I will continue to dream of my Space Amoeba trio in wonderfully articulated glory. Yeah. I mean, I picked up a cast version of Gazora because I just wanted a Gazora rep in there. Cheeseburger! Why not? We all like cheeseburgers, right?
I do.
I would like to see a remolded version of MonsterVerse Godzilla. Yeah, I agree. That could use a 2.0 figure at this point. Yuji Sakai has gotten better with fine-tuning the details on that. When the 2019 Godzilla was released, that did use the CGI model that was used in the movie at the time, and then he did additional touch-ups on it. So that's why it looks the way it looks, as well as the engineering, the articulation engineering for it to look up. That's why it's got that neck joint design. Because if you look at Evolved Godzilla, it can't look up with the way that it's got that sheath design. You know how it's like one over on top of another. So it's a little bit difficult. Macros pack would be fun.
Indeed it would.
Yeah. When we're gonna when I'm over at STCC this year, we're going to do a little Q&A panel, hopefully with the head of Monster Arts, and we're gonna kind of go over a year and a half ago, I started a campaign for monsters, and people were voting on, or not voting, but they were commenting on if they'd like to see it in the line, and we're going to see their reaction based off of those results. We didn't do it last year. We're going to do it this year, though.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Spider, kill it with fire. Oh, wow. Oh, these are comments on the Kumunga. Is there any... Do you know what? That is something that they've had on their lists for a long time. And honestly, I think that the licensing is just too big of an issue right now because it was Hasbro and now it's Mattel. And I think that they have a pretty strong grip on Jurassic Park right now. So I think even if they wanted to do Jurassic Park, it wouldn't even come to the United States. It would be Japan only kind of thing. But I think they want to tap into both markets. So I think that's why they're holding off. That's nothing official. That's just me thinking out loud. That does look incredible. Yeah, that's still that Haya is doing. That'll be interesting. I wasn't a big fan of the hinge joints that they did for the Muto figure, but it's acceptable for the first attempt in there, right? So we have a rep. That's what matters the most.
Yeah, finally.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dorky. I'm sorry I brought out the spider. I should have done a spider warning, right? I want to get Doom Island Spider. I don't know what that one looks like. Rob, do you have that one?
I don't. That one's a bit hard to really get a hold of, but it's really, really awesome looking.
Oh, wow.
I don't think there's a more 90s looking spider than that.
Wow.
That's the best way I can describe it.
What's your favorite Mechagodzilla in the line, and why is it the Kiryu triplets? I guess in the line, if I had to pick so far, I would probably pick the Heavy Arms Kiryu. That one is my favorite of them. I really wanted Mechagodzilla 1974 to be my favorite, but it just fell short. Literally. Fell short. And so I'm hoping that when they do 75 Mechagodzilla, it's going to get out of that small scale and they'll scale it up and it'll look really good. Because that is actually my favorite Mechagodzilla is the 1975 Mechagodzilla. I have the X Plus Space Beam version of that.
Ooh. I have a question for you, Michael.
Go for it.
How possible, if at all, that Monster Arts would tackle Polygon Trilogy Mechagodzilla?
It's possible. They actually still have, to this day, they have the anime trilogy listed for people. They don't have Mechagodzilla specifically listed, but they have the category for what films you would like to see characters from, and the anime trilogy is listed. That includes the Mechagodzilla and Void Ghidorah.
Oh, I would love both.
But
I really would.
I think the likelihood of seeing them anytime soon, I think that there are other characters that are more popular that they want to focus on first before we get to those designs. Maybe on an anniversary when did the trilogy come out?
Started 2017.
2017?
Yeah, I think.
So maybe you're right, it's 2017.
Okay.
So maybe for the year 2027 we might get a Scarlet Godzilla Earth along with a different character. That would be pretty cool.
That would be awesome because Scarlet got like a minifigure and that was it. Oh, so bummed.
Yeah. What are your top favorite Godzilla designs? Rob, you answer this question. What are your top 5?
Shin Godzilla. That's my number 1. Number 2 would probably have to be a mixture of 73 to 75. Number 2, oh god. I don't want anybody to come for me. I really don't, but Dad Goji from Son of Godzilla is...
Hey, everybody's got their preferences.
Dad Goji. He's my number 3 for sure. Number 4 would probably be GMK. And then number 5 is it forever shifts between 89 and Godzilla 1999.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty solid list, honestly. That's pretty good. My top suit is the 1994 Godzilla. That is my favorite one. When I think and close my eyes and I think of Godzilla, that is the Godzilla silhouette that I see. So I like the 94 version. And then my second favorite would be, I like 1984, and then I like 1989, I like 1975, and then 1954 after that. Those are my favorites.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, no Shin love. No Shin love. It was okay. The design did not grow on me, though.
That's perfectly fine, and I tell that to everybody. It's like, yeah, that was a wild, like, hard, sharp 90-degree angle turn for Godzilla to take. So I get it entirely. It's I don't know. It's just when it comes to like new Godzilla designs and them like traversing really far from what's normal, for some reason that just resonates with me more. I don't know what it is. It's just like a little mental thing.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. When they release 75 Mechagodzilla, what accessories would you hope for? I mean, definitely I-beams. That's a definite must. I know Bandai likes to focus on, or not Bandai, but Toho, when they associate Mechagodzilla 74 and 75, the differences between them, they like to pair the chest beam with 74, and they like to pair the I-beam with 75. So I-beams are a definite must. We need those in that release.
We do.
And then I don't think there's much anything else that I would want with that figure, as long as it just came with that. Oh, you know what? The shield, the spinning shield, that would be a pretty cool effect too.
That would be. Definitely.
I hope S.H.Monster says Orthochromatic Shin Awakening version. You know what? Before we even talk about Orthochromatic Awakening version, I want an Ultimate Awakening version, because Night Combat Godzilla, Shin Godzilla, that was a beautiful figure. That had the red done in such a way that it just popped in any kind of lighting condition. So I would love for them to do what they did for that figure for an Awakening version, because the previous Awakening version, it was good up until Night Combat came out. That took a dive in my ranking because of that figure. So I would love to see an Ultimate Awakening.
I just want an Awakening Shin from S.H.MonsterArts that has the beams that come out of the back. That's like...
Yes,
I know that's an ask.
That is a must.
I know that is a crazy ask, but... Oh, my God. You don't get more Ultimate than that.
That's not... Yeah, I was going to say, for Ultimate, like, yes, let's do that. Bring all the same effects before and just give us some extra ones. I don't care if it costs $200. I will take that.
I will, too. I'll drop right then and there.
The one figure I would like to see the most is Godzilla 1998 or the series version. So I see a lot of this. I will tell you guys this. There is a higher chance of the Godzilla 1998 version being made into MonsterArts over the animated show. That is just one of those things. Like, when I was talking to them about it, it's like, oh yeah, the animated show, and I got a, what are you talking about look on there. So I don't think they're familiar with that, or I don't even know if it was even released in Japan, was it? So the cartoon series. Do you know, Rob?
I'm not sure. There might have been syndication over there, but if it was, I don't know if it lasted too long.
Yeah, when I brought up 1998 Godzilla to the head of Monster Arts, he was like, "Oh, of course, I know that one's big ask." And then when I said the animated, he was like, "Animated? What? What do you mean?"
That
So
was a
I
thing.
think that, yeah, I think that one's very very far away. Maybe they might do a colored deco of it, but I don't think they would make a figure based off the actual cartoon Godzilla.
That might be too far from the mothership.
Gotta go. Fun stream. Hey, thanks, Cass, for stopping by. Appreciated the talking with you and sharing our love with the figures with you guys. We're just kind of chilling right now, relaxing. Just answering some questions before we head out. Oh, that sucks. Maybe one. Yeah. So this is regarding the Jurassic Park figures in the Monster Arts line. Yeah, it's unless Mattel is willing to bend and let Japan have and Bandai have a crack at it, I just don't think it's going to happen. I think Mattel's and Hasbro, when they had it, I think they were just like, it's ours and nobody else can have it kind of thing. But you never know. Maybe they can come up with a deal. It is on their list. They've had it on. Jurassic Park has been on their targeted list for such a long time. Let's see here. My favorite Mecha G figure is that Nerve Metal. Yeah, that one's you know, I always forget about that. I have both versions of it, where it's the Ava colors and then the black one. I like the black one better though. Yeah, Shiryu. Do you have that figure?
Bro, I have a story for that figure. Oh. And it's not a happy one.
Oh no. Well, I want to hear it anyways.
So it's a bit of the same of what happened when I got reissue S.H.MonsterArts Shin Godzilla. I sacrificed groceries money. And when I did that, the site that I ordered from, I thought they had taken my money right then and there. So stupidly, I didn't, get all the groceries that I needed. And I was waiting for the payment to go through. And I got an email assuming that my order had gone through. And I believe this was on Hobby Search way back in the day. So I had an order, but the money obviously never went through. So I was sitting there in my apartment, suffering by myself, eating ice cream sandwiches and ramen, and thinking that I was out of all of this money. Well, it just so happens that I never put a payment option in for Hobby Search. And when the figure did come out, they sent me hundreds and hundreds of emails saying, listen, you need to pay for this. You need to pay for this. And for whatever reason, it just went over my head, and I am no longer allowed to shop at Hobby Search.
Oh.
They dropped the ban hammer on me.
Yeah.
That's totally my fault. Totally.
That sucks. But that's a warning to everybody. The differences between importing and ordering from the domestic United States is that when you import a figure, you are 100% committing to that import. They generally frown on cancellations. Depends on retailers. They might give you one cancellation, but they will ban you from their shops if you do it too frequently, or if you just don't even pay them when your pre-orders due. They'll just outright ban you because they don't want to deal with you.
Yeah. And I think I sent them like 8 or 9 apology emails because around this time I was getting most of my like Shin Godzilla stuff from my friend Tom in Japan, and he didn't really like tell me like you got to be on that. And oh man, I think I sent them apology emails for like 2 years after that. Not even begging for my account back, but just saying I'm so sorry because I didn't know.
Wow.
I was pretty bummed. Yeah. Well, after that, when I found out that I was like banned and I realized that I wasn't going to get the figure, I think I went out and I went to a steakhouse and just got the most disgusting thing I could possibly get and just ate and then died.
Oh my.
It's like I can't get Shiryu, but I can get this steak and mashed potatoes and go home and cry in a ball somewhere.
Oh my God. Great story.
You see, we learn. We
sure do. This is why we tell stories. Learn from our mistakes, right?
Yep,
Daniel
absolutely.
Dickerson says, do you happen to have G-Store Godzilla tasks outside of Awakening? That one is the best to me due to the paint highlights and sheer amount of detail. Yes. So if you want to know my Shin rankings, it goes G-Store exclusive, the maquette, top, peak, whatever you want to call it. That is the best MonsterArts version of the figure. Then I would say Night Combat follows after that, and then Awakening, and then Frozen, and then the second reissue of the first one, and then the original is dead last.
Yeah, I I only have 3 of them, but I agree with this list. Yeah, when it comes to those
Frozen's just different, right? Like it hits differently. It's just a different type of. It can look really cool in photography, but as far as like a favorite, I like Awakening a little bit more than that one. But I think that Frozen can look wicked cool, though.
It does.
I want Void Ghidorah and MonsterArts. Go ahead, Rob.
I was gonna say Frozen was my favorite until I bought Orthochromatic off of you. Now Orthochromatic is he's my shining boy.
That's right. I didn't even think about Orthochromatic. Yeah. So if I were to add Orthochromatic to my list, that is above the original and the second reissue. I would say that it's kind of tied with Frozen for my likes.
Making me regret not getting that Night Combat, though.
I really do like that. I really do like that Orthochromatic Shin has a matte finish on it. I've always said that since the very beginning of the Shin releases, that they all need a matte finish. Stop using the semi-gloss coat. Actually, they don't even use semi-gloss. It's full-on gloss. And I hate it for photography. I hate it so much.
I do too. I'm right there with you. So next year, these 10 years.
Kaiju Connection says, I have a very hot take. I don't like the Heisei era of Godzilla. That's not really a hot take, in my opinion. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't like the Heisei Godzilla, but I love the Heisei Godzilla. That's my favorite. What is your opinion of the 1998 animated series? You know what? I barely watched that when it was out. I remember watching it. I'll be honest. I was one of those kids I felt betrayed watching the Godzilla 1998 movie. I remember I had a G-Fan magazine, and they were like, "Is this the Godzilla design? It's leaked or whatever." And I was looking at that, it's like, that's not it. That's not Godzilla. And then I was sitting in the theater and I'm watching it and I see him first on the screen. I was like, I felt so betrayed as a Godzilla fan. I was like, this is not Godzilla. I was so upset. I watched the whole movie and I enjoyed it in the end, but I was just so upset when I saw that first look. I was like, that is not him. And then I watched a little bit of the animated series when it was out and I was just like, I couldn't get into it. I was still a little butthurt about its look. So I was like, don't call it Godzilla. And then when Final Wars came out and they called it Zilla, I was like, yes. It gets beat up and just a tail whip. And I was like, yes.
I knew that tuna head wasn't up to much.
But I will say that my opinion on the character has changed as the years have gone on. I'm not. I don't feel that way anymore. That was my feelings when I first saw it. Now it's just like, I think it'd be pretty cool to have a figure of that character. I think it's had a renaissance too. You've got Defareal, you got Spiral doing it now. So I think Movie Monsters recently did it too. I think it's just inevitable when Bandai and MonsterArts, they know that you guys want this figure. So it's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time at this point.
Yeah.
This is a long shot question. Do you think they'll ever make a Godzilla figure design out of the comic books like Godzilla Rat? I don't think so. When we talk about comics, it gets into a whole different licensing ballgame. They would have to really pull some strings to do that. Because here's the thing, the comics. I think if the comics were based in Japan, I think it would be easier to do. But they're based in America, IDW, and there's Warner Brothers involved. There's a lot of red tape there. The more licensors there are, the more you have to pay out. So is it worth it in the end? Are people gonna buy an IDW Godzilla for $250 or $200 because of licensing costs? So I just don't see that happening. This is just my opinion, though. It's not confirmed or anything like that.
Is it around the same for like the Pipeworks trilogy, like Crystalac and Obsidius and all that? Like, would you say that's kind of on the same beaten road?
Well, it's a little bit different for those characters because Atari doesn't own the rights to Obsidious or Crystalak. Toho does, actually, believe it or not. They own the rights to those characters.
Damn.
Yeah, so that was part of the deal. They actually own the rights to those characters, and so they could even be used in movies if they wanted to, but they don't. So I think if they wanted to do an Obsidious and a Crystalak figure, they can easily do it. They don't have to go around and ask Atari for licenses or anything. That was part of the deal of those characters being made, is that they were officially licensed by Toho.
Wow. Well,
I think if you actually look, I'm not sure, but I think if you look at the video game art on the back, you know how they have the little copyright symbols, the tokens? I think Crystalak and Obsidious have their own. I think they do.
Crystalak Toho.
Somebody look that up. Fact check that.
I'm doing that right now. Let's see.
I'm going to look it up too. Cover art.
Oh, I probably should have just did that.
Yeah, one of the first ones that pop up there. It's on the Wikipedia page. Oh, but where is it?
That is a tiny image. Good Lord.
Yes, Crystalak does have its own. It does have its own trademark, Toho trademark.
Wow.
I am looking at this. I don't know if it's just that they've run out of room, because there's definitely more monsters in the game than this that we're seeing on the back of this, but I believe that Obsidious also has its own trademark as well.
I think I think Obsidious was exclusive to the PlayStation version. I might be wrong. Don't take my word on that.
It was I think Crystalak and Obsidious were exclusive to the Wii version. You couldn't get them on the PS2 version.
Oh, okay. I got it backwards.
I think. Maybe Obsidious was on the PS2 version, but anyways, that was a good question right there. Is there a reason why there hasn't been an 84? Like I said, they're working backwards. We've had 94. They skipped 93 and 92 and went straight to 89 and then 91. But they do have 84 and they do have 93 and they even have 92 on there. And they just put 94 back on there since that was the first figure done. I think they want to redo that, do a 2.0 of that figure. So, but as far as... yeah, I know. I really want that really badly if that happens, because 94 is my favorite Godzilla suit. So let that be a thing. But as far as 84 goes, popularity-wise, Sakai does really good sculpts of 84. So I am honestly surprised that it's waited this long. But I think that MonsterArts division is just more focused on other characters like Millennium and the later Heisei releases, and then some 70s monsters from the Showa. So we're getting so close to getting 84. It's so close.
It's surprising.
The elephant in the room. When will pre-orders open for Godzilla 2000? So because of the tariff situation, Bandai had put everything on hold. When they changed the tariffs to 145%, they decided no more shipments on the water. We're not even soliciting pre-orders at this point. So now that it's gone down to 30%, that has all resumed for shipping product over. As far as solicitation goes, we're waiting on that still, but hopefully it will be soon. We'll be able to start seeing Godzilla 2000 pop up, as well as other pre-orders that were announced during that time pop back up. Giving away some of those spare Anguirus? No, unfortunately. All those other Anguirus figures have been claimed by individuals already. They will be going to good homes, and I'm not giving those away. They're paying for these figures, so they're just splitting the cost of the shipping and what I paid for it, and it's being sent to them. So, but if anybody else is interested in this in the future, you just got to send me a DM and say, hey, are you going to be doing a variance comparison? I'm interested in picking up one of those, and I'll add you onto the list. And when I do the comparison photos, from there, I'll send you those photos if you're the first one in line, second, third, or fourth, and we can work out a deal for that. But for Anguirus, it's sold out. Nobody's claimed any of the Final Wars figures just yet, so I still have 3 of those available when they pop up. I imagine a lot of people want to see what that looks like before claiming it, though.
Yeah, rightfully so.
I forgot I ordered 1954 poster color version, and it's low key fantastic. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even
Yeah.
say low key. It is fantastic. It's just
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I'd like it because I'm so I like the 1954 classic black and white, but I was really surprised. I really do enjoy the 70th anniversary figure.
Yeah, that was a fun post Thanksgiving recording session, that figure, because I didn't have the original, so I was essentially going into that one blind, and I feel kind of silly saying that I was sold on that figure because the box was so nice.
Yeah, I'm
And it
very curious to
is.
see what the 95 is going to look like, that box art, because that's a 70th
Oh,
anniversary figure too, so that's going to be pretty fire too.
it better be.
I can't
It
wait.
better. Me neither.
Which
I'm there, dude.
Marvel-powered up Godzilla would you want as a figure? I'm getting parts around for a custom Ghost Rider Mechagodzilla. I think this is based off the recent stuff that's been going on, right?
Mm,
I
do
don't
believe
really have
so.
much of a thought on that. I did see a picture of the Ghost Rider Mechagodzilla. That did look pretty cool. Rob, do you have any input on that one?
I would like to see a venomized Godzilla. In all honesty,
Oh, that would be pretty cool.
just because that was a thing that people have been wanting for so long, and they finally did it, and they went nuts with it. He uses his tongue to like snap buildings and everything. It's so insanely cheese. It
Wow.
just works. And then there's like a little hook at the end where somebody gets Venom, and Venom looks a bit more like Godzilla than Venom, and that's sick too, and I would like that as well.
Cool. Morph asks, where can I find this list of potential monsters? If you go to my social media, you can check it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, although I think Twitter's probably, or X is going to be the best way to find it. Just scroll a little bit down and you'll see that list of, I just did a recent post where I just kind of threw everything on the lists that are available. You guys can see what's Bandai's thinking about putting out for Monster Arts. I don't know if I can even send a link. I don't think links work in chat, do they?
I'm not sure, because I remember a couple times people sending links during my streams, and they either got blocked or they had to be approved, and I don't even know if the link worked. It's been a
Yeah.
while.
Yeah. I know that as the owner, you can send links. I just don't know if it'll work in the chat. But let me see if I can find that. I bookmarked it. And I'll send this link right here. You guys can try this. I don't know if it's going to work in the chat, but we'll see. Oh, it does.
Oh, yeah,
Look at
it
that.
does.
Yep. So you can click on that. That has a list. It's a thread, so you can scroll down. The recent announcement was that they added Soldier Legion to the list.
Ooh.
And then if you scroll down, you'll see the rest of everything for all the different lines, including Yu-Gi-Oh! And Monster Hunter. So just scroll down in the chat, you'll be able to see that link there. Master Pikachu says, "Oh no, I'm sorry, Rob, to your story."
Oh, it's perfectly fine. One day, like I said, Shin Godzilla's turning 10 next year. Maybe there will be some surprises with that.
Yeah, there might be an Ultimate Awakening. Who knows?
I'll spend money.
He's like, no more.
No more. I want more.
Have Bandai ever planned to make the power plant supercharged Godzilla or the Rio? Well, on the list, so the list that they had at San Diego Comic-Con that was prepared, that had supercharged evolved Godzilla on the list. So I think there's a good chance that that one's going to be coming out. Maybe even the next DCC exclusive. We'll see what happens. More empathizers. Poor Rob. This is why I buy my figures. Yeah, this is why I buy my figures either online, where it is near me, or places trustable and not pulling my tail. All right. Yeah. Snow Godzilla would be nice. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure, why not? Funny how Godzilla 1998 is received warmly nowadays and hated at first, like Star Wars prequels. Yeah, I mean, you have to understand, there was an expectation of what like there was a high expectation of what the first American Godzilla was going to look like, right? Like,
yeah. Like they were talking about that on TV on like 7 o'clock news. Like, what's Godzilla gonna look like?
Like that was the most hyped reveal in everything. Like building up to it, like they built up like the Taco Bell dog and all that other stuff, and then you just see it and you're just like, but that doesn't look like it. I mean, that was my. I don't think I saw any person in the theater that walked out of it and just said like that was a good Godzilla movie. No. Everybody just kind of looked like it was fun, but it wasn't Godzilla. Everybody had that look to them. But it's
pretty ironic.
Eh? I mean, and this is people like my age.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was saying like it was people my age too. Like I know some people watched it when they were like younger kids, like 4 or 5 years old, and they remember it. Like that was their first Godzilla movie. That it's a little bit different for those folks, right? Because that was their first, and that's what they saw. For me, I had been watching so much Showa Godzilla movies, I had an expectation of what Godzilla would look like, and it just kind of fell flat. So,
you know, Taco Bell actually spoiled his design because of the toys.
Yeah. I do remember that. I mean, even in the little commercials, they would show like the tail and the legs. That should have been our first hint to like, it's not going to look like what you think it's going to look like.
Yeah. And then
I remember collecting all those little strips. Do you remember that on the cups?
I do.
You got it. If you spell out Godzilla, you get $1 million or something like that. I had every single word except for Z. And I kid you not, I totally fell for a scam by a kid on the playground who said that he was going to give me the Z if I just gave him $25. I gave him $25 and I did not get the Z. It was just a piece of paper that said Z on it. And I was like, what the heck?
What a jerk.
I thought I was getting a good deal. I thought I was getting $1 million. I thought he didn't know.
Damn.
I was swindled. Playground wars, man. It's real.
Playground politics, bro. Those were the days.
Yeah. Fun fact, the Tumblr bot that flags mature content really thinks the Shima figures are dirty, both Haya and Shima. Okay. Interesting.
That's weird.
I don't know much about that.
Tumblr's just
so excited for this to come out. Oh, yes. Got to go. Hey, we'll see you later, Kaiju Connection. Thank you for asking those questions, man. Forgotta. Crystalac and Obsidius, a figure of both would be cool, despite the lack of love from the community of those characters. You know, I think if people were able to play the Pipeworks games on modern consoles, there could be some renewed love of those characters. I think it's just about accessibility at this point, you know?
Toho.
Looking at you there. Side-eyeing that. I want a Ready Player One Mechagodzilla, and I unironically want a Fortnite evolved Godzilla. Well, that's definitely not going to happen. The Fortnite Godzilla is definitely not happening. I don't have to talk to them to tell you that it's not going to happen. Ready Player One would be neat. It's just the problem is it's not directly from a Godzilla movie itself.
Could you imagine the first solicitation of an S.H.MonsterArts Fortnite Godzilla evolved with a gun in his hands?
Oh my god. With the sneakers, right?
With the sneakers. With the big J's.
Oh my god. Rob, you would have a heyday with that. I just know you would.
Oh, I would. I absolutely would. Absolutely.
Do you think they will make an Atomic Breath version of Godzilla figures that doesn't have any accessories? Yeah, I think that all those are up. Any figure that's been released that doesn't have an atomic variation, yeah, they can definitely do it. That's the idea with MonsterArts lately, is that they'll do the bear version first, and then when they do the decisive battle or something, they'll include those extra bits in there to make it different, whether it be Atomic Breath or Atomic Paint or Heat Ray variant of some sort. You know, that's the idea. So I think the notion of expecting accessories to come with Godzilla and Friends the first time around, unless it's absolutely critical to the character, they're probably not going to come with those characters. A lot of the mecha figures will come with them because it's integral to the design. Same thing with Gamera. A lot of, like, you know, the flight mode is so integral to the character itself. They're going to do those effect parts. But as far as it's a business thing, that's all it comes down to. They don't want to give you it all the first time around. They want you to come back and get a second one, you know? And it offers something new to new collectors, and it gets the old collectors to come back and double dip.
Business 101.
Yep. That's what they do. Now, when a line is first introduced, when MonsterArts first came out, they included a lot of bonus effects. They were very clear to say that these are first edition bonuses because they wanted to get people to get on the line. They wanted to, like, hey, it's a big deal. This is a new Godzilla line. We're going to give you all these extras as first edition bonuses. So that's why you got, the King Ghidorah gravity beams. You got that Mecha Godzilla pedestal with the Mega Buster beam and everything. The big spiral red effect that came with the Rodan figure. Those were all first edition bonus effects. And the idea is that they're not supposed to be reissued ever again because of that. They still can, though. As long as they have different paint decos, they can do it. They just can't reissue the originals. And that's why we haven't seen a blue beam in such a long time, because that was strictly a first edition bonus effect. That's why you don't see the blue beam of that Heisei beam. In my opinion, they should just do a brand new Heisei beam that's blue. Just stop it with the existing mold, because I have so many of those. I think I have like 7 of them already. I'm done with that.
I got one. I got
one. When will we get first information on? I cannot tell you that information, unfortunately. It'll be soon though. It's been a little over 6 months since that was revealed. It should be soon, but I can't tell you the date, unfortunately. Would love a 2-pack with the 1955 Godzilla and Anguirus. It's a hard ask. Both of those figures are rather large, I think the first time around they would keep them separate.
Then you gotta wait 12 years.
Yeah, hopefully not, right? I really like the scale between the two. Oh, yeah. Oh, I loved how the Piper Works games. I would love... it would be so cool to have the original Kaiju. Yeah, it would be. For anybody that liked them, at least, right?
Yeah.
I'd love the Fortnite Godzilla, but I'd rather... No. I'm not in that boat. I'm sorry. But hey, if you want it, cool. The Godzilla fandom would have a meltdown if S.H.MonsterArts and Fortnite Godzilla evolved. I mean, people were already having a meltdown when it was first revealed, right? People that weren't even probably going to play the game in the first place.
Yeah. It was, that was a day. That was truly a day for Godzilla Twitter.
Godzilla doing the gritty. I know that reference.
I understood that reference.
Yes. I want a 1962 Godzilla Heat Ray and 1962 King Kong. That would be cool. It's been a bit since the 1962 Godzilla was out, and it was a web exclusive, so that version will never be reissued, but a paint redeco can definitely happen, for sure.
I'd be there.
Eric, thanks for coming and stopping by, man. He's heading out. Enjoyed the chat. Have a good night. Yeah.
Have a good night, fam.
Yeah. The idea is, I'm going to try and do these live things more often as figures are being released. And that's the idea, is after we get done showing off the figure, this is just kind of a little extra thing. Just sit and chat and have some fun. Fortnite Godzilla. We're going to wrap this up here in about 5 more minutes, though. We're going to give this 5 more minutes and we're going to jump off, guys. So let's get those last minute questions in.
I got to take pictures.
Yeah. Rob is patiently waiting. He's got his, was it Godzilla that's in there?
Oh, yeah, the Godzilla 91.
Yeah, so he's anxiously waiting to take pictures of that. So
I already took like 130 of them.
Did you really? Have you taken that many already? Wow.
Yeah, some of them are like doubles from like different angles and everything, but I try and do like 2 doubles per pose, and yeah, apparently, 138. I was a little off. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's what I usually do when I do my review photos. It ends up being about 130 or something photos. So.
Yeah, and I didn't even do size comparisons yet.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Daniel Dickerson, here's a fun one. You all remember the old Chogogun Kiryus from the early 2000s. I managed to snag the black SOS version for a good price. Lovely figure. Feels like a legit piece of metal in the hand. Hey, that's great. I don't own any of those figures. I didn't even start collecting Godzilla toys until MonsterArts came around. Before that, I had Treadmasters figures, and that was my Godzilla toy growing up. And Imperial Godzilla. That's what I had back in the day.
Good old Imperial. Mm-hmm.
A good pack, prehistoric toys, a good pack would be Manila Kamunga, Manila and Gabra, yeah, absolutely. Those would be great. A trio pack, Kamacuras, Kamunga, and Manila, put them all together. And then for a Godzilla Revenge pack, let's get a redeco of Manila and Gabra together. Why not?
That'd be beautiful. Oh.
The world needs Gabra, right?
It really does. And we just got one, so more.
Oh yeah, more please. Josh says, I don't think it'll be too big. They've done multiple figure bundles like Rodan and Super Mechagodzilla, Little Godzilla. Yeah, it just, when I say big, I'm more talking about the price for it, Do people really want a 55 Anguirus and a 55 Godzilla at the same time for over $200 something? That's the big question, right? For the Super Mechagodzilla set, Fire Rodan is a smaller figure, and Garuda is an extra accessory that's also smaller, and Mechagodzilla is really the big piece of that. So I'm actually really glad that they did combine all three of those in there. It was a bit surprising that they did it, but it just makes it so that we get through the next wave of Heisei a lot quicker. So I was all for that when they do a double up. I'm actually wondering if they're going to do another double up, if they do another version of Batra and Mothra and the larvas, like just make it a big quadruped. Why not? Ooh. Knock it all out.
I'd partake.
It'd be a very expensive set, but I think it would be a good way to knock it out. Because there's a lot of people that don't have Mothra and Batra or the larva form, so I'd be down for that.
Mm-hmm.
I have all the MonsterVerse Fortnite skins. Godzilla. Oh boy, your wallet.
Yeah.
That's all I hear. Tass, what kaiju that SHMA has never done, like Orga, do you want the most? Me personally, I think if you know me, you know what I'm gonna say. Give me baggin', give me glory. I really want a baggin' figure. I really want one. Because everything else, I know it's possible. I know it'll all be done eventually. But ones that there's no chance of possibly coming out, baggin' for sure. Give it to me. I want that. How come Godzillasaurus from -1 hasn't come out yet? I mean, they never said that they were going to do it, but I would say never say never. I would say never say never. The Ichibancho version that came out is solid. That was done by Yuji Sakai with the 3D model, so never say never. I'll put it that way. Eventually might come out. We might get a surprise. We did get the second and third forms of Shin Godzilla, and we even got Junior and Little Godzilla, so it's just a matter of time. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that minus one Godzilla craze is over yet. I think there's still plenty of merch that's still coming out right now for that.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'm just waiting for 84. Hey, you and me both. You and everybody that loves 84 is waiting out. Yeah, we're all waiting for it to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Are they considering redoing 64 Godzilla? I intend on asking this question at SDCC this year if there is any considerations to go back and scale up certain figures like Mechagodzilla 74 and 64 Godzilla, because both of those are unfortunately the runts of the litter. And I would like to see a brand new 64 Godzilla that has, engineering similar to the 1972 Godzilla that we see right here. I didn't like those triangle seams on it.
Oh, that would be beautiful. Oh.
One accessory for Megalon. What are both of you picking? Well, definitely, I like the horn beam. I don't know what it's called, but definitely that. It'd be pretty cool for some explosion effects too, for the napalm.
Absolutely.
Definitely drill hands though. It's got to have drill hands that you can put together.
I agree. Just like Wing Zero. Need to have them to put them together.
Yeah. Will S.H. Monsters gonna fix the Eyes of Burning Godzilla Anniversary? It's not even out just yet. Everything that we've seen, if you see things that are out at events, those are just production samples. They're not the final figures. So if you're looking at recent event in Taipei, it's got some wonky eye going on right there. Doesn't mean that they're all going to be like that. So that's just the current production sample. And I found that honestly, when they have samples that are going out to other locations other than the ones in Japan, they tend to be not the greatest quality. It just, if you guys remember Mechagodzilla 2021 was in Taiwan, I think, at a show, and it was like sitting on a piece of acrylic because it couldn't hold itself together that well. And it just, these figures, when they're resin prototypes and all that, they just don't travel well. They don't travel. They get beat up, things fall apart. So, and the eyes, I mean, who knows, right? Let's just wait until it gets fully released before we make final judgments, though. Remember the last time we spoke, you told me to get Instagram, son. Now I got Instagram, son. Hey, that's good. Hey, glad you got it. That is probably the most active social media that I use. That's also where I have the most followers on. So a lot of people go to Instagram. It's just easier, post photos and everything. Everybody likes it. Honestly, love they brought back the Kill 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 line of figures. Yeah, if they brought them back. I mean, it's just not in the cards right now, unfortunately, but they're just looking at pursuing other things at this time. Insert he's not Bandai joke here. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. We need a King Caesar figure. Yes. Yes.
We do.
We do. Absolutely.
Everywhere.
I want the Showa version before we go Final Wars, though.
Agreed.
Gotta head out, ready for work in the morning, but always pleasure. Hey, thanks. Thanks, Daniel. We truly appreciate it. Man. Godzilla X Kong packs, Scar King Shimo, and Godzilla. That would be a ridiculously expensive pack. I don't think anybody would buy it except for me. That's it. They're only going to have one sale, and it's going to be me. That's it. And no, I will not do a variance comparison off of such a large set, unless other people...
Absolutely not.
No way. Would they ever do Gemstone? Yes, Gemstone is on the list. If you guys look at that link that I posted in the chat... actually, I don't even know. Did I even include that? I didn't in there. But Gemstone is considered on the list, yeah.
Fire.
Yeah, Gemstone is considered, yeah. Yeah, I want a new Megalon. I don't really care about the Gemstone Gigan, but I do like the Gemstone Megalon. That looks really good.
Absolutely.
Hey, you're welcome, St. Pepsi. Now I want a Pepsi.
St. Pep, like, is that the... No. Okay, I was about to have a heart attack.
Yeah?
Yeah, because there's this vaporwave artist named Saint Pepsi who made just like this legendary vaporwave album that's like huge, and wow, oh my god, I almost had a hot flash.
Oh my goodness. You guys are trying to kill Rob.
If they're not
what would you like to see? What would you like to see at Godzilla Day this year? That's a good question. They're not really talking about what's going to be at Godzilla Day this year. I don't even think there's going to be a short film. They kind of ended it after that 5th one. So I just hope that they're going to have a lot of good content. I think that they're probably going to they have to show off something about the new movie that's coming out. A teaser or something.
Maybe a title reveal.
Yeah, because they're still writing it right now, right? They're not even shooting it yet.
I don't think they're shooting it. So
yeah. So that would be interesting.
Shin Godzilla.
Oh, believe me, that it's already a meme. It's not new.
Yeah.
I have T-shirts made with this now.
It's true. He wore one on the Figure Mania show stream just on Thursday.
Yeah. You know what? I'll go get. That's right. I'll go get one of those shirts actually.
Do it up.
Because it's just, at this point, it's just a meme, and people like memes, right? So.
And people do like to think you're Bandai. I mean, I thought you were Bandai for a while.
Everybody does. Everybody thinks it. It's okay. It's like a rite of passage. You have to think I'm Bandai.
Yeah.
But yeah, there it is.
I'm not Bandai.
I don't know if it shows up all the way. I can't see the screen. Oh, here, let me pull this back. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. There's our shirt. I'll be wearing this at SDC loud and proud.
I'm not Bandai.
I'm not Bandai. And you guys, if you see me, if you're going to SDCC and you see me, I'll have my logo on the back of the shirt and everything. So come find me. Say hi. Yeah, I'm not Bandai. I have a couple shirts that I've got right there. So it's true. The meme has been merchandised now.
But in your case, the meme will never die.
Yeah, it's true. To this day, any new fan that checks it out. You're right, Rob. Ha 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 ha
Oh
ha.
my God.
From St. Pepsi.
Beautiful album. Beautiful, beautiful album. I listen to it all the time. It's the #1 summer album for me.
Hey, thanks, Prehistoric Toys. We'll see you later.
Thanks, man.
Gemstone Godzilla with the white beam look would be sick. Yeah, I think if they did do it though, you're not gonna get any accessories the first time around. That's just what they do. Unless they wanted to go all in on it because they don't plan on reissuing it in the future, then they would do it. What do you think if they made an XL line of monsters? We asked about this a long while ago, and scaling is an interesting thing. There's licenses for different scales, and
what?
For Tamashii, yeah, there is. So, and that's why you have like, you know, Super 7 is like what, they're in the 10-inch scale. Hiya Toys is in 7-inch, and Bandai is 6-inch. So yeah, there's different licenses for scales. So
wow,
that is an actual thing. As far as 12 inches go, I think you know, when I was talking with them, they were not interested in doing large cast figures of this stuff. The best you're going to get is like maybe a Chogokin, Soul of Chogokin figure that's going to be large like that. But for Monster Arts, they're strictly going to stay in the 6-inch scale. And even then, its scale is relative. You know, Shin Godzilla is a massive character. Godzilla Earth is a massive character, right? So they're going to be within 6 inches, but they're not going to scale perfectly with the other figures in the line because they're their own scale within that franchise.
I'd buy another giant Godzilla Earth. I did it once. I'll do it again.
Not an emergency, fellas, but we got a new Costco food court item drop. Oh, yeah? Do tell in the chat. Let us know.
Let us know.
I do go to Costco sometimes. Get that $1.50 hot dog.
Hell yeah. Shit's good.
Master Pikachu, LOL. Hello there. All right, guys. 2 more minutes and we are wrapping up the stream. Rob desperately needs to go take some photos. He's been a great sport. Thank you, Rob, for coming out and hanging out with us and offering some commentary, answering those questions. I really appreciate that too on my end.
Oh, it was a joy. You got me at the perfect time. And I mean, still, it's very early for me, so I can finish up my photos, take my shower, and then roll over and go to sleep. So I had fun. I had fun.
Good. I'm glad that you had fun. I'm glad everybody else had fun too. You know, I like to have as many people come out for these streams as possible. So if there's not another I was holding out for this food court item right here, but if I don't see it here, we're going to wrap it up. And then I'm going to do my sign off here with you guys. Okay. Did they post yet? I walked away from the computer.
We got 3 new messages.
Let's see here. Would love to see another combiner. Like, yeah. That was tough. You know, honestly, I bought a second one because I was just like, I don't want to put this together and take it apart every time. So I have the tanks separate on display, and then I have the figure on display too.
Smart.
That won't be reissued either because that was a Bandai Premium exclusive.
Oof.
I'm low-key going out and getting Mikey's Late Night Slice sponsored soon. Nice. God, late night pizza sounds so good. Making me want to get my DiGiorno on.
It's not delivery. It's DiGiorno.
Thinking about it, yeah. Oh, sorry. It's a calzone from Costco. Okay. Okay, that could be good. It could be good. Rob, show me the Hayahese.
Yeah, let me just grab the photos and I'll send them your way.
Yeah, good. Giga Guy 123, thanks for the stream. Yeah, appreciate you coming out, man, hanging out with us. That was great. This is the last question, guys. Last question. What's one Monster Arts Godzilla that you hope they don't make? That they don't make? Man, I want them to make every single Godzilla design. I don't want them to not miss any of them. I mean, give me 1967 Godzilla. I'll take them all.
Absolutely, especially 67. Ooh.
Yeah. Oof. All right, guys. Thank you, Mahap. All right, everybody. That wraps up our stream for today. Thank you all so much for coming out and supporting it. Thank you, Robo Lizard, for the super chat. That was amazing. It supports it's, you know, I don't even do the channel, like I don't live off of the channel or anything like that. This is just a fun thing, but also to share information with you guys and give you more of a transparent look at the figures. You know, my commentary, what I go for with this is just, hey, I'm going to show you guys what the figure is, and you know, what you think about it's up to you. I'm not going to tell you how to think about it though. So just I want to show you guys what it looks like, and we'll go from there. But again, thank you so much for everybody for coming out for the stream. We will be doing Final Wars Godzilla maybe the end of next week or the beginning of the week after. It just depends when they send that out to me. But we will be doing 4 for variance comparison purposes. We'll go through all that. Stay tuned for some Anguirus photos later on. I'm going to be posting some action shots with that a little bit later. And again, thanks so much for everybody. Thank you, Rob, for coming out again. And until then, we'll see you guys later.
See you later, everybody.